93 rounds of fantasy draft, including #1 overall pick Landon Arroyos and 80th round pick Justin Verlander. It's been a while since I've done a draft-only rebuild, and I think one of the best ways to put a cap on MLB 25 is going to be doing a fantasy draft 0 overall rebuild with kind of the end of the season rosters. Now, one thing with that is that I wanted to change it up a little bit because I also feel like we've seen all season the same teams be great, the same players be great. So I've also implemented a fantasy draft to help present a bunch of different players, new situations, so we can see what can come out of this and see what teams end up actually being great as we are near the end of the season. But because we're using end of season rosters, there's no 0 overall roster just sitting in the vault with new players. So in our fantasy draft, we went through and spent all 93 rounds taking the worst players, the lowest potential players I could find, and putting them on the team, hoping that we would eventually get a 0 in 162 level roster. But I also figured we might as well have a little bit of a mascot for this team, so I brought in Justin Verlander to pitch for us, because why not? 42-year-old? He'll probably end up retiring at the end of the season. And so today our entire focus is going to be on scouting and drafting. Essentially, we are going to have to build a team from scratch with every single player that we end up drafting. That is going to be the final team that we have. No free agents, no trades. All that we will have left is whatever this team has been built up of draftable players throughout the next, hopefully, 11 seasons. This will be a long one, so turn on, grab a snack, sit down, and let's get to drafting. Now, we won't be starting with the #1 overall pick. I wanted to take a little bit of a different twist, and we are going to today start with the Diamondbacks. Just a team I've never really rebuilt with, which is going to give us 2 second-round picks and a little bit of a variety to play with as we go throughout our season. Our big focus is getting in the most useful players as possible, and we'll shoot for some stars, I think especially early on in the process, because those guys will have a lot longer to develop. What we don't want to have is grab guys that are 20, 23, 21, who will not necessarily develop. We are going to spend most of our time trying to get guys in the 80s, something that can end up building a good roster. Remember, we're going to have to draft every single position. Starting pitcher, we'll need to have a lot. We're going to have to try to build around having 6 to 7 starting pitchers, another 8 relievers, something like that, and we'll see what we end up having inside of our bullpen, and then 1 at every position, which means there could be times where position players might not necessarily provide value. We will see what is the best available. Shout out to right fielder Stanley Tucker, as somehow on April 5th, we won a game over Jackson Chourio, Byron Buxton, and the Washington Nationals. All right, not an 0-1, 0-62. And so, to establish our start to our draft, I guess we have to kind of go through what players we're looking at. I think in the beginning, it's a big deal to just get guys that have really, really high potential. We don't have to worry about position or anything, but there are some positions that I think I've seen some extreme value from. This first baseman, Sam McVay, is phenomenal, especially with contact left and discipline. Now, he doesn't have the greatest stats in the world, but the fact that he has positional versatility and first baseman means that I do think this is a pretty good player for a position player. Could be to be one of our big guys. We found a discovery. The second baseman, Robert Bledsoe, doesn't have really anything interesting, but could be a nice swing later on in the draft. There's also another guy here, Steven Silva, who could be that. I think some pitchers have some really interesting stats, like Danny Falk, who could be still available by the time that we get to him, and this reliever, Julio Taveras. But we'll see what guys end up being available. We have pick 18. I'm thinking I'm going to try to take Sam McVay if he's available there at pick 18. Otherwise, we will lean on one of these early pitchers to be the guy. Makes it a little bit of a tough pick because I do think that this guy, Joe Collier, is really, really good, and so is Bob Ortega, but getting position players is going to be difficult the entire time. So the first pick, the first player that we will be adding to our future core is going to be first baseman out of Ohio, Sam McVay. Shout out all-star second baseman, Yoelin Cespedes. Some people say I don't got it. I still got it. We got it. Look at all the blue. This is going to be actually really good to build around. McVay was the right pick at number 1. 94 potential with a 60 overall. Good bat, good clutch. He is going to be a stud for us to build around as our first baseman. Bob Ortega, 94 potential. He's 18 years old. 91 potential out of Julio Taveras, who I took with our other second round pick. That's an A potential reliever. We might already have our closer of the future. Steven Silva, 89 potential. That's decent. He's not really anything special, but will end up being a good outfielder, hopefully. 99 potential from Chris Chassin is going to be phenomenal for us to have. He was kind of an all-around. Didn't really see any extreme value. I hate that stamina is the highest overall, but we can focus on training the right stats there. Doug Walk, 86, and even Jesse Pinto, who was a last-round swing, 83 potential. This is going to be a nice thing to build around. We've got a first baseman, we have a center fielder, and we have 3 stud pitchers, 1 decent pitcher, and a stud reliever. That's so many more wins than I thought. You know what? Good on our single A team for doing that well. You know who also deserves a shout? Jose Ramirez finally getting his MVP. Now with the Marlins. 332 and 45 home runs and 138 RBIs for him. Kurtz in second, now with the Cardinals. Gunnar with the Reds was third in the NL. On the AL side, Judge, now with the Angels, hits 53. Shohei, now with the Yankees, hits 51. And Juan Soto with the Orioles hits 288 and 46 home runs. Cy Young, Royals, Hunter Brown. Skeens on the Red Sox in second. He'll probably actually end up staying there. Chris Sale on the A's in third. On the NL, Logan Gilbert. Skubal was in second, now with the Cubs. And Rodon, who won like a Rookie of the Year. Let's just see. Kurtz, obviously in the NL. Who won on the AL side? Roman Anthony, now with the Tampa Bay Rays. Verlander's down to what the same overall the rest of the team is at. 2-21. 2-21, got his 3,500 strikeouts. The Brewers defeat the Blue Jays in the World Series. Now, normally World Series MVP gives you no information, but apparently what it tells us is Lenyn Sosa, this World Series MVP and postseason MVP over Devers and Acuna with the Brewers. Ozzie Albies, Dylan Dingler, and Geraldo Perdomo for the Blue. Must have just been a pitching season for those 2 teams. Okay, so we want to hopefully get number 1. If we don't get it, that's still okay. Obviously, we can draft well. That's not number 1. But at our chance of getting a generational hitter, we probably need to have 1, 2, or 3. That's terrible. I think it's a good start. We have our guys now in here. We're going to be setting focus on training, making sure that these guys are focused on, our pitchers are having their walks per 9 and their hits per 9 go up. Our relievers need to hit that pitch and clutch up. And our hitters, funnily enough, actually McVay has good contact stats, so we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on his discipline stats more than anything here. But focusing on training, we have new coaches. I brought in Stephen Vogt to be our head coach for the next 12 years. I brought in a decent, farm director and Larry Conrath. Younger guys, to the best of my ability. Junior Moreno's older, but where we signed them for long-term deals, hoping that they would end up helping develop our guys. Some will retire over this time, but I believe when we did this last year, this took us around 10 years. So we're shooting for around 10 years. We technically have 11 years of team control over Sam McVay and all that. So we'll try to get this done in year 10 or 11. We're going to take it. We've got 2 first-round picks this year. So we should be able to make and get a few good players. Not the number 1 overall pick, but that means we should be able to bring in 2 stud players this year. I'm kind of glad I don't have the number 1 overall pick in this draft, as we have pick 7 and pick 35. There is one surefire player, but he's a non-ranked guy, and Jose Jimenez, which I would hope to be able to sit on and wait for if possible. This is probably the best player in this draft. While looking through, I didn't see any other studs outside of Alexi Cruz, who is very much my number 1 pick if I can get him at pick 7. We do need more outfielders. He looks like a all-around stud outfielder, 6 foot, out of the Dominican Republic. This is the guy that we want, but I'm going to say there's not a lot of depth in this class. There's a couple guys maybe, but we'll see what's available to us. I mean, Danny Anderson's not bad if we don't end up getting our guy, but I want higher ceiling this early in our process. Well, they made my life pretty easy because they didn't take him. They took Danny Anderson. That's going to leave me with Alexi Cruz, our future, hopefully, all-star center fielder to add to Sam McVay. Also, in our futures game at this point, we are looking at a few good progression. We've got Chris Chassin in the All-Star Futures game. Bob Ortega is the All-Star Futures game. He's got a 5.06 ERA right now. Not really a big fan of that. Maybe we need to push him down a little bit. Maybe he shouldn't be playing at that high of a level. Julio Taveras is in the game right now as well. He hasn't really pitched either. So if Chris Chassin starts, we also have Sam McVay playing in AAA right now, 249 with a 325 on base percentage. Only a 700 OPS though, so he's got a ways to go, I think, yet before we end up seeing anything, but his plate discipline is going up, which is what we were hoping for. I don't think that Silva is going to be here, which would make sense. He's not as good as the other guys, but we've got some guys. Shout out this year's All-Star, Joshua Lorenzo. Now, I said I didn't know if I was getting a generational talent. We still got one anyways. 79 overall, 99 potential. Alexi Cruz is going to be, dude, he could be MVP. He could be an MVP. We hit on Alexi Cruz and a couple other guys too. Now, Adrian Santos is kind of a miss here. 76 potential. That sucks to hear, especially being a second first-round pick. The pitcher that I wanted was gone by then. And so the other guy I wanted was Torrey Seymour, and nobody else on my board was interesting. So these are the three guys I had scouted. This guy was a miss. Seymour, 92. That's not bad. And hits per 9 and walks per 9 are good. Fred Ryder, random swing at third baseman, meh. Coleman Campaneris, 48 overall. Don't know if he's going to be able to progress fast enough for that to be valuable. But we do have a catcher technically who could be something interesting. Another one here, 51 overall. Don't know if it'll be anything, but 94 potential. And then decent last round pick as a starter. I do want to see what the other guy was. And so not too bad. Jose Jimenez to the Rangers, 94 potential. I mean, those stats are phenomenal though. 77 overall with a high hits per 9 and a high walks per 9. Watch out for this guy to lead the league in the ERA once he gets to the actual league. But still, we made the right pick. We have a stud first baseman and center fielder. I mean, pretty good year for Sam McVay in his first year in the minors. He shows good discipline. I mean, the only thing is I do want to see him get a little bit more power, but his contact stats against lefties are phenomenal. My only concern is, does that mean he's going to be a platoon type of first baseman? I don't really want that. So I think we need to see more power. We still need to see him improve defensively. I mean, at least he's a first baseman, so that's not that big of a deal if he's not. But I'm not liking necessarily the traits of those, but I do know his numbers are going to add up here just by getting on base as much as he does. And Bob admittedly did not have a really good season down at AA this year. 5.01 ERA, 1.57 whip. Maybe should have stayed in single A for a little bit longer, but his stats have gone up, which is a good sign. Losing Justin Verlander made us one game better, 22 and 140. And your MVP is Nick Kurtz of the Cardinals. That guy is going to be really annoying to try to beat on a team that will likely actually be able to afford keeping him. 52 home runs on 130 RBIs, Bobby Witt and Fernando Tatis behind him. On the AL side, Shohei, Aaron Judge, and Ketel Marte. Both those guys being in the AL means those two will probably just swap MVPs back and forth. Cy Young goes to Corbin Burns with the Yankees. And your Cy Young on the side, Tyler Glasnow with the Marlins over Luis Garcia. Do we have a cool rookie of the year? Josh Baez? No. Hey, Alex de Jesus, third in the race. We got somebody in the race. That's awesome. My God, Vladdy hit 351 for the White Sox. How is he not MVP? Gunnar Henderson and the Cincinnati Reds defeat Shohei Ohtani and the New York Yankees in the 2026 World Series. Alex Bregman, part of the Reds, gets the World Series MVP. Tyler Freeman, Bregman, they got Lubob as well on the Reds. On the, oh my God, they have Seager, they have Stanton. This Yankees team is pretty stacked. 2 years, 299s, get me a third one. Come on, number 1 overall pick, please, so I can get a third one. We haven't needed it. We got 99s in a late round and 99s in pick 7. But pick 1 makes those chances so much higher. 299 potential guys means we got 2 guys at number 1 and number 2 in the prospects across the entire league. Ortega's sitting at 10, Seymour at 13, McVay at 16, Taveras at 17. We have 5 guys in the top 20. And if we take a look at our organization right now, Silva is actually the worst player that we have, according to this, in our entire system of guys that we have drafted so far. All these other guys are just random guys. So let's see if those guys can play well in the minors this year. So we have 2 seconds this year, but really what we're looking for is to find a generational talent somewhere in our top pick. That's really what we need. I can get any position. We have really good starters. We have a really good center fielder. We have a really good first baseman, but it's still early enough that any of these guys could be it. Now, I'm hoping that it's a position that we don't have yet. But if it ends up being a starter, if it ends up being another center fielder, if it ends up being another first baseman, that's all that we really need to say. Right now, we have a catcher, first baseman, 2 third basemen, which I don't really like either of them, and we have 3 outfielders, and I'm not sure on 2 of them, but I like 1 of them. Now, there is one thing with whenever you draft number 1, is there's so much more pressure on you, right? Because you're like, I can't make the mistake. I can't mess up. I can't draft the wrong guy. I don't think Marlon Barton is a generational prospect, looking at him. He doesn't look like one. Neither does Douglas Cosmo, but they're both at this peak point. I think we just have to take Barton because second baseman's harder to draft, and we already have so many starters. But if there is a generational prospect somewhere, I'm going to be so upset. And so with the first pick in the 2027 MLB Draft, we are taking, not starting pitcher, Marlon Barton, second baseman out of Kansas. Hopefully he is as good as our other guys. Shout out 2-time All-Star Josh Lorenzo, who ends up hitting 209, but it doesn't matter. We didn't get a generational talent, but it doesn't matter. We got all blues. Marlon Barton, 90 potential at second base. I got a catcher in Patrick Hitchcock. I was debating him or Cosmos, which is funny, because then we got Cosmos anyway. 93 potential starter. We really don't need any more starters. I mean, I will convert some of them to relievers. We do need to get more relievers inside the team, but wow. Just another great draft. Had no idea on Quevedo. Took a risk there. Mark Kern, didn't know him. 86. That's all right. McCarthy was injured, so I waited, and he was still there in the 5th, and I was like, yeah, why not? 90 potential. And then 82 on Villalobos, which, whatever. So, hey, we're building this team up. We've got a shortstop now who could be here. We have another third baseman. I know I've drafted 3 of them now. We've got another second baseman. So we have some depth. We have a catcher, with a really good contact catcher, too. So the team is putting together. It's funny that our first overall pick, this technically was our worst draft yet. Just because I'm showing you all my hits doesn't mean that I'm also not missing. Miguel Blanco got drafted to the Royals, 65 overall, 97 potential. That would have been really nice to have. We actually had a few minor league standouts this year. Julio Tavares, our only reliever we've drafted so far. 2.41 ERA with a 1.22 whip and 32 holds this season in 116 innings. He's seen a big boost. He's still pretty far away. That pitching clutch needs to go way, way up for him to be a reliever. McVay is doing exactly what I needed out of him. His OPS up now in the 800s, 287, 366 on base. The discipline is great. The power is slightly going up. I need to see a lot more there, but we talked about improving the fielding, improving some of the power. I think he's still pretty far away. But I like this. He's hitting well, but I don't want to ruin him by bringing him up too early. And then, of course, the guy who could just be up right now, Alexi Cruz. He hit 282, 845 OPS, 373 on base percentage in 115 games. He could be up next year. Now, I'm not going to. We're going to try to conserve these guys for one more year because I want a little bit of a batch of guys to come up. Like Doug Walk could come up now at this point too. But I want a little bit of a wait before we bring guys up because I want to not necessarily waste my time. I've got a lot of time I need these guys to develop. A lot of guys are still in the 50s and 60s. So as long as we can get a rookie of the year out of whatever guy we bring up first. Jose Ramirez with his second MVP. Shout out him and the Marlins. 53 homers, 120 RBIs. On the AL side, it's not Judge or Ohtani. It's Ketel Marte with the Twins. 329 and 45 home runs. Cy Young, Paul Skeens. Oh my God, 202 with 236 strikeouts? Skeens, let's go. Hunter Green gets it in the NL side. I mean, that's just a strikeout central. Garrett Crochet, 348, 232. Almost became the Rockies' first Cy Young contender since Ubaldo. The Phillies take down the A's in the 2027 World Series. Will Smith, 3 home runs in the World Series, hitting 625. That's really good for them. They had Smith, they had Naylor, Jake Myers was in that race. Yoan Moncada, big dumper, Cole Young. Okay. Yoan Moncada putting together, a career after being basically pushed out of the league. You think we can get 2 first overall picks in a row? Give me 2? I don't really need it. At this point, I think we actually got a good core here. I just need these guys to develop. We do need relievers really, really badly. So I think we'll spend a lot of time on relievers. Second overall pick, good enough for me. I feel like the game should just give me like a god prospect just to cap off MLB 25 with kind of how we started. Like make Jeremy Gibson just 99, 99, 99 just to cap it off. Really, we could end up filling out this team this year if I get a lot of relievers. Having a bunch of picks every year has been nice. I still think there's some positions that we don't really have really good right now. Third base, I think, could still use some improvement. I've drafted 3 of them, but none of them have been, maybe Quevedo. But we're still far away on progression standpoint, so it doesn't really matter. I need more outfielders. We need more relievers. Our starting pitching looks fantastic. I will convert some of those guys to relievers if I cannot find more relievers, because I think like a guy like Roderick Duran, who's an 84 potential starter, would never really get a chance with me. Or Jesse Pinto. I'd rather him just be a reliever. Oh, God. It's early, but Sam McVay. 390 with 1,000 OPS in AAA. He's got the bat. Maybe I just need to increase his, defensive ability. Because he has got the bat. This draft has been made really easy for us. We have pick 2. We are either taking Lonnie Feliciano, who is my number 1 choice, or Walter Wong, who is my number 2 choice. One of these 2 guys is going to be on the team. They fit and resolve a need. So that's that. Otherwise, we have a bunch of relievers and starters that we're going to fill the rest of the team with. So the Cardinals have the first overall pick. Please don't take Feliciano. They do. Okay, so that's that. We're going to take Walter Wong as our guy. I want a Feliciano more, but they take him. So we're going to take Walter Wong. I accidentally skipped it. That's on me. Whoops. Shout out All-Star shortstop, Manny Cedeno. We're taking it. 93 potential at Walter Wong. This is important because he does have second and third base as secondaries. So he ends up being somebody who could play short if Max McCarthy doesn't develop. He could play third if Max McCarthy does and we don't have a third baseman that develops. And he's just a good bat. Fast, good bat. I like him a lot. I got Claude DeYoung as just a random swing, 22-year-old here, 58 overall with 89 potential. Daniel Rivas, good stats on the run, hits per 9, walks per 9, just overall 86 potential. Pablo Anaya, there's our first closer we took. Kazuhito Ka wasn't necessarily that great, 82 potential there, but it doesn't matter because another 99, that's our third 99 potential player, Ben Perez in the 5th round. And then Joe Valenzuela ends up being one as well. That looks like more of a reliever than a starter. But wow, we've been doing great. And Lonnie Feliciano wasn't even that much better than our guy was. So I'm not too upset. I was afraid he would have been a generational guy. But, this guy's going to be a stud. But we didn't miss out. Lexi Cruz had a slightly worse year in the minors this year. 24 homers, 267 average, 494 slugging, 841 OPS. I don't know. Maybe I bring him up next year. I don't want to make him squander his, potential at development by being down there another year if I have to. But I also don't want to waste my years because he's obviously good enough that he would play for 6 years. I don't know if he'll be good in 6 years. Our best starting pitcher so far has been Doug Walk, 402 with a 132 whip. Not bad for his year in AAA. And McVay did come down a little bit. He ended up getting down to a 776 OPS. We really need to work on his power. At first base, that's not acceptable that he's only hitting, that many. But he's developing his eye and he's developing his defense. He needs another season to develop some power. Though it's a small sample size, another guy I'm really proud of, Patrick Hitchcock. This could be a really good catcher for us. If he can hit like this, that's phenomenal. The Pasquatch wins the MVP in 2028 over 2 Milwaukee Brewers in Jordan and Rafael Devers. Cy Young going to Colorado Rocky Garrett Crochet, who had a great season. On the AL side, Shohei taking back the crown with an MVP for the Yankees, 53 homers, and Spencer Schwellenbach getting the Cy Young for the Texas Rangers. The Phillies win back-to-back World Series, taking out Vladimir Guerrero's White Sox. Okay, top 3 pick. 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row. Come on, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Oh my God, this takes so long. 5. So right now we're about 5 years out from being a contender, and where they've got us is the concern, I guess, is looking at some of these positions. I think our bullpen will be all right. I think our starting rotation is going to be great. Looks like Barton should be good, Wong should be good, McVay and Cruz will be good. Third base, I still think we need to resolve, and an outfield we still need to resolve. So, with that in mind, I think that's where we're going to be looking this year, trying to resolve the rest of this outfield, because Steven Silva and Guy Doherty are not enough. Maybe getting another first baseman if there's just another really good bat. But, I mean, yeah, this is really good. Also, in 6 years, we're going to have $840,000 in the books. So with us now having top prospects across the board and having every single position mostly filled, I think the idea is we'll do one more year of this, minor league squad to get the 20 wins or whatever. And then we'll call up some guys next year, like Cruz, like I believe Doug Walk could come up. He's 24. Makes sense for him to come up. There's a couple other guys that I think could come up that might not have as high of potential that we could say could go up. I think like Adrian Santos at third base. He's not even going to be up here on this list. But yeah, I mean, look at us in the pitching department. So I think as long as our guys develop just a little bit more for one more year, we can start saying, hey, 2029, let's start going for some rookie of the years. First base, outfield, whatever we need to do in order to try to supplement the rest of that team, that's what we're looking at. And we have pick 5. Of course, there's a top-end first baseman. This is where I always feel a little risky, right? And I think we got to go risky. The top guy, Todd Baum, is non-ranked. Do I take him with the 5th pick, or do I see if I can wait and get him in the 2nd round? I want to wait, but here's the rub. Basically what we'll do is if Fernando Merced is still there at pick 5, we will take Merced, and then we will take Baum with the 2nd pick if he's still there. If not, I'm not going to take the risk. No other players were really interesting. But Merced can play 1st and 3rd, which is really important, knowing that, well, we suck at 3rd right now. So that's our goal. Please let Merced fall and Baum fall. Okay, this could be a mistake. I don't care. You guys are going to be here to see it. There's actually so many good pitchers in this draft. But we are making the risk. Fernando Merced, please let Todd Baum fall to 41. All-star Alex DeJesus. Actually, he's been really good. Look at that season. That was almost a 2-war year. Well, Merced wasn't necessarily great, but we did get Todd Baum. Interestingly enough, he was considered the number 1 guy, but he was only an 88 potential. Now, I still think he's going to be a good player. He's a lot farther away than I would have liked, but that's okay. It's fine. 88 potential is all right. Tom Liss, closer, 94 potential. Random swing, didn't have him scouted. Valentin, 89 potential is all right. Marte, and then another reliever here. There was nobody left on the board, so Milton Welch was our last guy. He could be one of the guys that could come up right away because he's not going to be anything in the major leagues, so we don't have to worry about development. But, I mean, not too bad. I wish I did a little bit better with pick 5. Like, this is what could have been possible, and this would have been really nice. Damon McCormick and Terrence Wetzel. I looked at both of them, didn't scout them because I had my guys down that I wanted. It's why you don't, like, center in on one guy, because there's always a chance there's going to be somebody better. Our AAA team this year was our starting rotation. That will probably be our starting rotation next year, honestly. I think we just go for it, and let's say we go all in and bring our guys up next year and say whatever. Doug Walk, 375 was good. Chris Chassin, very good. Ortega, it's been not what I've wanted them to be, but it's okay. Cosmo was good. Villalobos was good. Pintos was a little rough. Duran didn't really play there. And then when we go down to AA, Pablo Anaya was very good this year. Kazuhito Ka was all right. Taveras normally was in the bullpen. I don't know why he got moved to the starting rotation. I guess he started this year, and 287 with a 116 whip. He could come up next year. I don't know if I want to bring him up. I don't know why his progression has slowed so much, but it has. Anyways, our starting lineup is going to be good for next year. I think 2030 is when we actually start building around this team being in the majors. And one of the main reasons behind that is because Alexi Cruz is sitting at an 89 overall. 263, 508 slug with an 851 OPS. Yeah, he's just got to be up at the major leagues. But it's not even him who's been the most impressive, because Sam McVay is slugging. I mean, he's not really, but he's walking so much that I think that we're talking about a guy who could be, oh, I don't want to say it because he doesn't have the power, but the vision. Freddie Freeman, which is on the mind because I've actually had him on this team because I decided to sign some veterans. We got him 3,000 hits, and we got Stanton 600 home runs. Junior Caminero is your MVP, beating out Jonathan Aranda. Okay, he was really, really good in this. Oh my God, he was really good in this roster. Okay, that's insane. All right, shout out Jonathan Aranda. You know, Rafael Devers. Skubal gets the... Oh, my Padres might be really good. 220 for Skubal as well. Kyle Stowers wins the MVP. 94. Okay, all right. What is this roster? I love it. Shohei. I hate that. I mean, Aranda's a batting title at 341. Stephen Kwan is up there. Spencer Horwitz is at 307. Austin Hayes at 300. Gavin Lux did. What's on the AL side? Sal Stewart? Who are you? Oh my God. 90 overall. Shout out you. Glad he's still good. Okay. Whoa. That stacked Yankees team defeats the Padres. 2030. Here comes our guys. And we're going to start the 2030s with the second overall pick. I like that. Sometimes this game is crazy. Charlie Condon just never made it to the majors. Sitting in free agency. Now, as we look at 2034, team starts to look a little bit more interesting. I think we might have a good enough team now. I need to see these guys play. We need to see what they can do. But until then, I actually think this is going to be fun. 2030 this year is going to be a year where we are going to start a little bit of half and half. If I don't have positions yet that I think these guys are ready for, I'm not going to bring them up. The big one being catcher. Hitchcock and Caminero, I actually think are going to be really good, but I don't want to bring them up too early, so I'm not going to. We're only bringing up a couple of the starters, not all of them, because I don't want to ruin them all if I make a mistake. So Sam McVay is going to be at the major league level. Marlon Barton is going to be at the major league level. Guy Doherty, Alexi Cruz, and Steven Silva. Adrian Santos is going to be at the major league level this year. And then Doug Walk, Chacin, Jesse Pinto, Roderick Duran are going to be at the major league level. And Pablo Anaya, Julio Taveras, and Milton Welch. It's time. 2030. We're finally going to bring some guys up. Marlon Barton, the first overall pick in 2027. Sam McVay, just an absolute dominant force down in AAA. Alexi Cruz, the generational talent that we took at 7 overall in 2026. Steven Silva, who you probably don't remember who I took. Guy Doherty, our speed threat. Adrian Santos at third base, and a couple pitchers like Doug Walk, our big one, Chris Chacin, and then Jesse Pinto and Roderick Duran, as well as Julio Taveras. A couple bullpen arms coming up as well. It's not going to be a full year. We're running still some of these minor league D potential guys in order to fill the roster. Hopefully next year we can roster a whole major league team. Opening day went great for a lot of our new rookies. Marlon Barton had a triple and a home run. Alexi Cruz and Sam McVay both with doubles this game. And Doug Walk, while giving up 4.5 runs, did get the victory in our home opener. Milton Welch getting the win in this game. Actually, not Doug Walk, my bad. And then Julio Taveras and Pablo Anaya. So our guys, our players that we drafted, getting the credit. That's going to be a rough start for Marlon Barton's career. Fractured arm, missing 1 to 2 months already, only the first week of the season. A little rough for him, but hey, we swept the Cubs to win the first 3 games. I don't have a lineup. The crazy thing is now with having like our entire roster pretty much filled, the idea is essentially to just take what is the best player available. We have outfielders at every position. I could still use a couple other, but we have shortstops that we just need them to develop. We have third baseman. We have catchers. We just need them to develop. I like probably getting another outfielder because I don't know if Steven Silva's the guy. Our pitching staff is already phenomenal. So it's just best player available from now on. I think I'm in love with Alexi Cruz and Sam McVay. Let's just say it's a bad year to have the number 2 overall pick because I think there's like 3 good players and I spent so much time scouting. I scouted every position player that was ranked between 2 and 30. Not a single one of them were good. Besides that Vogelsong guy. I don't know if he's worth picking. 89 potential isn't that great. So we might just take pitcher. Just best player available, like we said. Not as high of a ceiling, but this guy would be in the majors now. Higher ceiling, but he's further away. I don't know. So I think we're just going to take Greg Anderson. I don't like it. But this guy was hurt. This guy doesn't even look that good. This guy definitely wasn't it. This guy wasn't it. Like, there were so many players that had just really interesting, like, you know, I guess, profiles. Not a single one of them were, like, super interesting. So, Greg Erickson, welcome to Arizona. He's really tall. In our first legitimate year, we're 42-55, last place in the West, but not last place entirely, which is awesome. Because that means that our offense is doing enough, and you can see we're actually outpacing some teams this season. Our pitching is terrible, but that's expected. We don't have any bullpen arms, really. So, not terrible. 42-55 is not bad start for a first year. And we have 2 all-stars. Pablo Anaya is an all-star, 2-4, 2.61 ERA, but a .97 whip, which is actually really good. And then Alexi Cruz, 311 with 25 home runs and 76 RBIs. We might have a rookie year Nick Kurtz on our hand right now. All right, I'm calling it. Worst draft I've ever done. Oh my God. This is horrible. Greg Erickson, Philip Lopez will be fine. Johnny Roush. This is awful. No surprise, we didn't miss the playoffs. We missed the playoffs in 2030. But what's important is we run... I can't speak English. Rookie of the year. Wookie of the rear. Alexi Cruz! I don't know. Nick Kurtz hit 61 home runs. Alexi Cruz was 3rd in the MVP race. He's that good. It does help saving him till he was a 92 overall to play, but that's crazy. Cy Young goes to Garrett Crochet of the Rockies. That's his 2nd. The MVP on the other side goes to Corbin Carroll. Good for him. Gets an MVP with the Rangers. And Chris Bubich gets it with the White Sox, the Cy Young. We led in 2 stats, triples for Guy Doherty and WAR for Alexi Cruz. We might have drafted Mike Trout, baby. We might have drafted Mike Trout. This feels a lot like this past year's, A's, essentially. We have a contact on-base percentage guy in Sam McVay, and then we have our big boomstick in Alexi Cruz. Funny thing is that Cruz plays the premium defensive position, and he's the better bat, and McVay is the worst bat. It hits better for average and is a first baseman. Alexi Cruz played 156 games with 191 hits, 41 doubles, 42 homers, 9 triples, and 14 stolen bases with a over 1,000 OPS in his rookie season and 10 WAR. Did he get Gold Glove too? He didn't. He got a Silver Slugger, but 1,000 fielding percentage should have gotten a Gold Glove. On top of that, dude, we drafted Mike Trout. If he can rack up 10 WAR seasons to start his career And McVay was no slouch. 134 games. Kind of want him to play a little bit more. He's not great defensively, so maybe he's a DH in the future once I have another first baseman, once Merced gets up. But 29 doubles, 162 hits, 19 homers. It's not great defensively, but the OPS is good. The bat is still very good, but defensively, yeah, a little rough. 3.2 WAR is still very good for a rookie season. The rest of the bats were okay. Santos hit 252. Actually kind of like that from the C potential guy with a 331 on base percentage. Not terrible. 1.6 WAR, positive player. Steven Silva hit 219. I don't like that as much, especially with the low on base percentage. Not a really productive, but I guess good defensively, so I'm not that mad. It's not too bad. Guy Doherty was up here way too early. Actually, both those guys were up here way too early. But I'll take the, leading the league in triples in your rookie season, despite not really being good. Negative 0.9 WAR. He can bounce back from that. Marlon Barton missed a lot of the season, hit 234 with 10 home runs. And then I don't think I had any of the other guys. I brought up Patrick Hitchcock at the end of the season. Not too bad. He'll be our starting catcher next year. Now, the pitching staff was pretty rough. Doug Walk with a 5.31 ERA and a 147 whip wasn't very good. Chris Chassin was actually decent. We'll take that. 3.86 of the 1.3 whip is okay. He's probably our best, most productive. 0.8 WAR. Well, I guess he doesn't really strike guys out. Pinto, 4.73 with a 1.56 whip. Duran missed half the season due to injury. Funnily enough, I think our best pitcher was actually Pablo Anaya. Our closer was, if I go check Doug Walk, and our most productive and highest WAR pitcher was our closer. Shout out Pablo Anaya, all-star in his rookie year. The Yankees defeat the Phillies in the 2030 World Series. We're going to move right ahead to the next offseason, or next season. Full lineup. I know I don't have a shortstop yet. I know that Walter Wong might not be ready, but I'm just going to go for it. We're just going to bring him up next season and just say, hey, let's just do it. Bring him up at short and I'll just bring in like some of the guys I drafted last year because they're going to be busts anyways. I don't even deserve this, really. With how bad last draft was, does it matter that I have a top pick? So this year we will finally be rostering an entire lineup, but an entire starting lineup essentially of our own players. Walter Wong is going to be coming up to play shortstop. Speedy infielder, love to see it. I think he'll end up being a great bat. We have Fred Ryder coming up. A little early, but he's a third baseman, and we need him to play third base because Sam McVay is going to move to DH. It's our worst defensive player that we have. And Patrick Hitchcock is going to come up to play catcher full time, though we do have Coleman Campaneras if need be. We are also going to bring up first-round draft pick Greg Erickson, who I think is a bust, but it doesn't really matter. Mariano Pacheco, who is also likely a bust, but it doesn't really matter. And then we're bringing up a couple other guys like Tom Liss and Philip Lopez, some players that we have drafted that I think should be up this time, as we only have one extra player that is one of these kind of bust players left in our pitching rotation. He won't get many opportunities. And what a start it is for us to start off the year. An 11-6 victory over the New York Yankees for opening day, including a home run from Santos, McVay, Cruz, Walter Wong in his debut, and Marlon Barton, including a 5-hit day from last year's Rookie of the Year, Alexi Cruz. Offensively, this team is going to be nothing to scoff at. And now that we finally are winning awards, we get more compensatory picks. Probably a reason why we should have had McVay come up a little earlier, especially seeing that he did come second in the Rookie of the Year race. It's not like it's a big deal. We're really trying to fill this team out. I think we have the roster, but there's some positions. I still think right field isn't necessarily great. Doherty isn't really the greatest. Some of our pitchers I'm still very concerned by. And third base, I don't know if I like Fred Ryder long term, but it's whatever. It is what it is. So we're going to try with pick 3 to get a stud outfielder, because it looks like there might be one. And we already lost Walter Wong for 2 to 3 months. So never mind my full starting lineup plan. He was a bad pick anyways. I think I'm just going to bring Rudy Iverson up right now instead of playing one of these other guys. It's not like it matters. He's not going to become anything great, but maybe he can fill in the role for a couple months. Also, we're 2 weeks into the season. I know it's short. Cruz already has 7 home runs and 15 RBIs. Like, when I said Mike Trout, I don't think I was explaining how close of a season. Obviously, he doesn't have all the traits of Mike Trout, but Mike Trout's rookie year in 2012, he was MVP 2, Rookie of the Year. I think he had 40 stolen bases, which is the big difference, but very, very similar numbers, honestly, to what Cruz did for us here in 2030. If we have Mike Trout on this team, we will never make the playoffs. I went through and looked at a couple games. Yeah, let's just say Cruz is... The only thing is he doesn't have the base stealing, right? So, is he more Yelich with Trout's defense? I'm not sure. Essentially, there's some components where I think that he is not necessarily the GOAT. But in year 2, he did just get a cycle in a 5-hit game with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. I mean, I love looking at a guy like Alexi Cruz and seeing only 59 games played, already at 15 doubles and 22 home runs and 1,000 OPS. Like, oh my God, he's already at 4.4 WAR. We're not even halfway through the season. But we are in a division with Nick Kurtz, who does have 24 home runs and is hitting 384. Yeah, I think he's winning back-to-back MVPs. MLB 26. I think you're going to get a lot of A's content. We have pick 3, and there's a lot of players that I think could be the pick at pick 3. Though I think Ira McGinnis is the one who I probably will go for, just because of the power. And adding more power to this lineup, we got a lot of contact guys in our lineup. And I think adding some extra power would be the preferred pick if he's there at 3. There are a couple pitchers that are great. I think Edmundo Taveras is somebody who I might take with some of the later picks. We do have 2 firsts and 2 seconds. And with him having draft rank 69, I think that means he probably will last a little bit longer. There's also a really interesting player in Tom Hoover. There's no way this guy is good. But if he is, good for whoever takes him. I will not be that guy. Chris Dark was a guy who had 99 potential, 98 overall. So I scouted him, and he was not that. He went number 1. So guess what? We're going to get Ira McGinnis. Add some power to our lineup on top of Alexi Cruz. Maybe we'll have 40 home run hitters. That's too many words, and I'm not that smart. I'm really proud of Bob. He's like our only good pitcher, but he's an all-star. Shout out, Bob. Low strikeout guy. This guy's never going to be a Cy Young contender, but he's going to be our ace, essentially. So WAR will always not look good on him, but this is going to be my guy. This is my Cody Bradford. This is my extremely effective, I want him pitching in the World Series type guy. We also have a couple others. Sam McVay is an all-star at first base and DH. 16 home runs is pretty good. It doesn't match up to Nick Kurtz, who has 106 RBIs at the All-Star break. Let's ignore that. And then let's move to Alexi Cruz, who has 30 home runs. Phenomenal season. He's just being outpaced by Mark McGwire. I'm a little disappointed in Ira. I mean, 83 potential isn't necessarily worth a 3rd overall pick. But I did look through all the other outfield. There's not a single one of them where like, substantially, I really missed out on anything. So it's not like terrible. And we got other good outfielders. Andres Magana, 88 potential is pretty good. We did get Taveras. He's way further away than I thought he was going to be, but whatever. Copeland is also really far away, 83 potential. And none of these guys are really close. Correa is really good, but far away. The only guy who might actually play here is probably McGinnis and Magana. So I guess it's not bad. The power is there. That's going to be useful. Like Byron Webb was the number 1 of these outfielders. And actually, I thought I could get him with the 31st pick, but he went in the 1st round. So I was waiting because he was projected in that like 35 range. And he was the best one, but he's also further away. So I don't know if he'd actually ever play for us. And 87 potential, I don't think is significantly different in there. But the player that we said was going to be interesting was Tom Hoover. 87 overall, 88 potential. That's really interesting. Kurtz watch with 1 month to go. He's at 57 home runs, 147 RBIs, and hitting 375. Cruz is second in the MVP. Not going to win it, obviously. But this is a great season from Alexi Cruz. I'm very happy with it. The other important thing is the Rookie of the Year race, in which Patrick Hitchcock is hitting .333. Bob Ortega, second in the race, .246 ERA. Fantastic season from our guys so far. I mean, from the good players. The rest of our pitching staff is a joke, but it doesn't really matter there. Hitchcock's even second in the batting title race. That's awesome. 75 and 87, we missed the postseason. That's okay. Next season, hopefully we'll have a full team, a decent pitching staff, and we might be able to push ourselves into the wild card hunt. Bob snags the NL Rookie of the Year away from Patrick Hitchcock, so that's good for us. Nick Kurtz. Oh my God. 370, 70 home runs, and 176 RBIs. Well, yeah, if you look at those stats, that's crazy. All right, so last year he hit 61. I said that's insane. And now he hit 70 with 233 hits, 1227 OPS, and 12.2 WAR. Wow, that's crazy. Cruz, second in the MVP. Great for him. Great season. Cy Young goes to Corbin Burns with the Rockies now, as Crochet's gone. Trey Savage wins the Cy Young with the Tampa Bay Rays. And the MVP is Vladimir Guerrero. Trey Savage almost got both. I'm going to guess that on the NL side that Kurtz 100% Triple Crown, right? Yeah, it's kind of hard to get any league leaders when you've got 370, 233 hits. Nobody else hit 200. Didn't lead in doubles. That goes to Bobby Witt. But look at the 3 Diamondbacks behind him. That's awesome. And then home runs. Yeah, Cruz had a great year, by the way. Backing up last season, up to 162 games because I don't have any outfielding depth at all. So we played 194 hits, 45 doubles, 52 home runs, 135 RBIs. 303 with another 1,000+ OPS season, another 10 WAR year, but he committed an error, so probably not a Gold Glove. Yeah, that's crazy how much you need to do to get a Gold Glove, I guess, in the outfield. Meanwhile, in real life, that's not how that works at all. So great season from Cruz. McVay's contact stats went down. That's because he dropped from 327 average to a 286. But it didn't necessarily mean like a terrible drop-off. It was a drop-off. Definitely wasn't as good as his rookie year, but was still a very good player. He played DH most of the time, so no, no Gold Glove or less WAR. And Patrick Hitchcock, now kind of our contact guy, ends up being phenomenal. 6.4 WAR at catcher. Great defensively, 333 average, 411 on base, 932 OPS. Doesn't have a whole lot of power, but got 46 doubles on the season. And our lineup is, decent across the board. Actually, they sent down Fred Ryder, who was actually in the Rookie of the Year race at one point, but he doesn't get on base a lot. He's way worse than most of the other guys, but still 22 doubles, 12 home runs. What was that WAR at for him to be dropped off? Negative. That makes sense. But the rest of the lineup, Daughtry is... Doherty, look, he can steal bases. He can hit extra base hits. Like, he's got power. This is part of the reason why I wanted to draft an outfielder. But he just strikes out a ton and plays terrible defense. I'd rather him be a bench bet until he figures out how to do anything. But he also has power. So there's that. Rudy Iverson played actually not too bad, 245 average this season with 20 doubles. Walter Wong came back 245 with 5 home runs. He only played 83 games on the season. Marlon Barton 236, 17 home runs. Offensively doesn't look that great, but he is actually our best defensive player. That's not Alexi Cruz. So he racked up 2.8 WAR. Steven Silva 243 was okay. Adrian Santos 268 with 7 home runs. Campaneros 295, which is really good for the guy who's not the bat, who's specifically more of the defensive catcher. Compared to Hitchcock, though, Hitchcock is locked up that role at catcher for him. And then we mentioned Ryder, but other guys will come up next year. I think we'll bring up Merced, and probably we're just going to give McGinnis the shot right away, straight to the majors. And our pitching staff was not good. This is why we lost. Philip Lopez, 5.71, got sent down. I don't think anybody else got sent down of importance. Duran had a 5.31 with a 1.66 whip. Tom List, 3.34. Not terrible, to be honest, from him. That's okay. Milton Welch, 3.94, 1.22. Not terrible. That guy doesn't count. Tavares, yikes, 5 ERA with a 1.58 whip and only 33 strikeouts. That's a bad season from him. He's supposed to be like our best reliever. Pacheco, 4.91 with a 1.52. Not good. Pablo Anaya had a drop off from last year. 10 blown saves. It's pretty bad. The starting rotation, Chassin. I mean, he got worse from where he was last year, which is not a good thing, but I guess the strikeouts are up, so that's okay. Doug Walk, not great. Pinto, not great. But Bob was fantastic. 272, 115 whip. I think he'll probably be our ace next season. And Greg Erickson, you know, not awful, not terrible. I mean, he wasn't good, but he wasn't terrible. There's a good chance that like Pinto and Erickson maybe move to the bullpen, and then we just bring up Cosmo and Villalobos. The Giants defeat the Tigers in the 2031 World Series. We are probably going to be adjusting our pitchers. I might move some to reliever just to make this work a little bit better. But that's more just so that the CPU doesn't like mess up how they pitch and whatever. We'll go into next season, hopefully with a full lineup. It's crazy how in draft only rebuilds, what it feels like is like, I don't have any players. I got no players. My team sucks out. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, I have too many players. I don't know which ones to play. Torrey Seymour is going to pitch. Douglas Cosmo is going to pitch. I got to give guys a chance to get in rookie of the years, right? So that's going to be the idea. I moved Roderick Duran to the bullpen. We moved Doug Walk to the bullpen. He hasn't been good, even though he's the highest overall. He may be a bullpen arm. There's guys like Villalobos, who has been phenomenal, who I'm like, I guess we'll wait. Philip Lopez, I sent back down. It's all about Bob, though. And lineup-wise, we need to figure out the outfield, really, is what we need to do. I'm going to have Sam McVay play right field this season because Doherty is injured to start off the year, and I would like him to play right field, but I don't know. We're going to bring Adolfo Quevedo up. Fernando Merced is going to come up, and we'll see what we got. Now, we do have a couple outfielders coming. We have Ira McGinnis, who we just drafted round 1 of 2031. Full power, interesting. Don't know if he's got enough traits to be a major league player, though. I want to see him at AAA because I don't normally draft guys like this. Todd Baum, that's the type of guy I draft. And we did draft him. So, I mean, there's that. But he looks really good. He's just a little further away. He'll definitely be a player once we get to that level. And then Andres Magana, who's probably closest to Todd Baum. By the way, after a bunch of like terrible drafts, of course, we got a little bit better. So we now have pick 11. I guarantee you there's an absolute stud somewhere in this draft.
A couple weeks into the season, and look, we are the top team in the league, and our pitching staff is actually doing a great job. It does help that our offense is as good as it is, that even though some of our other deficiencies are there, we are second in contact. So one of the better, which makes sense. That's guys that I draft. But we have actually built a pretty decent squad now. And if our pitching staff can hold it together, even though we're the 17th best staff, we might be a wild card team. There's really only one super interesting player. That's Richard Hurley. Because if he ends up being, kind of what we saw last season out of the Tom Hoover, that could be a guy who could play for us right away. Will he fall to 11? Probably not. But if so, that's awesome. Otherwise, I don't really know what I'm taking. There's a couple guys that are okay. So the Angels got both of those guys with Richard Hurley and Tom Hoover last season. The only other guy that I thought was really, really good was this Austin Pittinger. And I think that there's a funny thing with this where, I want to show and I want to draft great players, but sometimes the game just doesn't give you great drafts. So right now, I think the best pick would be taking this pitcher, but we don't need more pitchers. We need more bats that are actually good at other things. Robert Garcia, I think, makes the most sense. His contact is terrible, but he's got power and he can play defense. And right now, we are the worst defensive team in all of baseball. That's going to be what we're going to try to fill. Still leading our division at the All-Star break, though we're only 2 games up on the Padres. But what that does mean, I think, is we're going to have a tight wild card race. If we can win the division, perfect. If not, it's going to be a bit tough because it looks like the Central is like stacked. But either way, end of the season, that means this is going to be a pretty close race. We might have our first playoff appearance. And we have Pablo Anaya is an all-star. No starters for us this year. Other all-stars are going to be Sam McVay, who is second best first baseman, though he's playing right field this year, as Kurtz has a bit of a down year after his insane year last year. And then Alexi Cruz, also an all-star. A little bit of a down year contact-wise, but he still has 30 home runs and is leading the MVP race. We took some swings. I don't know if any of them are really that great of swings. It looks like the later picks were. Garcia had 86 potential. Could be a major league player. His contact stats are way worse than I thought they were going to be. So he's not going to be up for a while. Hernandez, higher overall. It's not terrible. I took basically some swings on some relievers, knowing that that's a need that we have. And these guys are all okay. Mark Schnell, that's a good player. I just don't like the walks per nine's lower. Todd McKinnon, pretty good, further away. Jameson Pena, further away. Takahashi, further away. So I don't know if any of these guys actually will mean anything. It's just kind of these four. And I don't know if Garcia is going to be there. And yes, Richard Hurley was an 88-88. So the Angels have gotten two of those guys in a row. But I don't think I can exaggerate the fact of just how bad these drafts have been. This is honestly the best prospect position player wise that I have seen outside of like those freak shows like Hurley in 3 drafts. High potential and decent starting overall. And it's only 90 potential. And it's not even that good of a bat. I mean, I would love him. I'm going to say that. But like, that has been these drafts. Not that great for the last couple of years. Right now, we are tied with the Padres leading the NL West with 1 month left to go in 2032. Does give us a little bit of a gap in the wild card race, but essentially, we're hoping that means that the NL Central teams are just going to beat up on each other a little bit in these last couple of months or last month of play, whereas we just have to beat the Padres and the rest of our division isn't that good. So if we can pull this off, see, our offense has dipped a little bit since when it was one of the best. Just power isn't really there, but our team continuously gets better. We are now 7th in pitching. 97-65, we win our division and are taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game. That's a huge jump. That's a 22-game jump. And it's supported by National League MVP Alexi Cruz, who hits .302 with 50 home runs and 143 RBIs this year. Funnily enough, that's actually worse than he was last year, but it doesn't matter because, Kurtz wasn't in his way this time as he finally goes below 1,000 OPS and finally below 10 WAR. But still an amazing season for him. Home run champ. Hunter Green wins the Cy Young of the Cardinal. Chacin was second in that race. And Hitchcock was second in the batting title. And Anaya was second in the reliever of the year. When we take a look at the American League, your MVP, Vinny Pasquantino with the Red Sox, and your Cy Young, Cam Schlittler with the Yankees. We led the league in 2 stats, wins with Chacin and Anaya with saves. And then on the offensive side, home runs, RBIs, WAR with Cruz. Hitchcock almost had it. Look at our offense. Look at our offense. Hitchcock hits .313, just comes short of the batting title this year with that season. Alexi Cruz gets his MVP. We just showed his 9.5 WAR. Sam McVay, .309 this season as his contact comes a little bit back up. Didn't have was third in I think in the race, or fourth in the race for batting title. But I'm just happy he played decent defense this season at right field. Steven Silva, 3rd round pick in 2025, ends up putting together a great season. 5.2 WAR for him, hitting .305. When we brought him up, he hit .219. I legitimately thought we were going to have to replace him, but he has become a great player for us. Marlon Barton, okay offensively. Remember, we're not looking for a lot from him. 718 OPS isn't great, but it doesn't matter when he's got 3 WAR. Did commit 8 errors. I don't like that, but he's our best defensive player. If this is our Nico Horner. I can't even say that. He's got a much better bat there. Walter Wong this season is 274 average. He had 6 triples, 54 doubles on the season, and 39 stolen bases. Did get caught 18 times this year. 2.6 WAR. Terrible defensively, but we knew that. We're a terrible defensive team. Santos had 3.9 WAR this season. Caveda, who in his rookie year probably was like 4th in the race. I didn't see him on the board, but 21 doubles, 18 home runs in 125 games with a 768 OPS. And Iverson, who I let play again just because he's a decent DH, 1.6 WAR with, you know, some good contact stats and decent slugging. Not great, but 752 OPS isn't bad. And our bench guys, Merced never really got a shot. Doherty is actually so good against lefties. He can't play defense, but he's so good against lefties that I feel like I should just keep him playing lefties, and maybe I could just swap him and Cavado, which is what I did this season because Cavado can hit lefties. And then we have Campaneras, 272 off the bench as well. They sent down somebody. Oh, Fred Ryder got sent down. Ryder was not good, 225 this year. He lost the spot to Cavado because he was terrible. Also, McGinnis dropped the 9 in contact versus lefties. So I sent him down to AA because he was so bad. So he's not coming up anytime soon, I don't think, is what I thought originally. But where we saw our massive improvement was our pitching staff. Mariano Pacheco did get sent down, but a 3.73 ERA isn't terrible from getting sent down. I don't know if anybody else did. No, but they wanted to keep Villalobos up. Duran, now in the bullpen, had a 4.33 ERA with a 1.43 WHIP. That's okay. List 3.99 with a 1.35 is good. Welch 3.83 with a 1.3 is pretty good. Pinto in the bullpen this year 3.53 with a 1.27 WHIP. Erickson was pretty bad. He wasn't meant to be. We swapped him and Walk. I don't know which one of these guys is a starter. I just went with Walk for the second half of the season because Erickson was playing bad. So that's a tough spot. There's a chance that, you know, maybe I don't let one of them play because Villalobos has got to be up here this next year. Taveras, 3.18 with a 1.18 WHIP. This is the guy who I think was going to be our best reliever over time, but right now, still just kind of decent. And then Pablo Anaya, second in the reliever of the year with 52 saves. Got some of the blown saves and the control down. Still has to work on it. That 252 season is something that is possible. But the rotation, Bob, 3.82 with a 1.33 WHIP. Not as good as his rookie year, but that's okay. I mean, sometimes that happens. And he still was a very, very good pitcher. And his strikeout numbers went up. Chacin in the Cy Young race, mainly because of wins, because he won 19 games. But a 3 ERA and a 1.24 WHIP is very good for Chacin. Cosmo in his rookie season with a 4 ERA, and Torrey Seymour with a 4.58 in his rookie season, and Doug Walk, who bounced between bullpen and starting rotation at 4.31 ERA this season with 130 strikeouts. He's like the strikeout guy, but apparently he had more control than Erickson this year, so we'll take that. And yeah, playoff time. So we'll be starting with a bye, the 2 seed taking on the Philadelphia Phillies in the NLDS. In our team and all of our players' first ever postseason appearance. Bob Ortega is going to be on the mound against Peter Kelsey of the Phillies to start us off. I don't need a series win, but I would love one from this team that actually surprisingly made and won the division and was the second best team in the NL. So game 1, Ortega versus Kelsey. Let's see, we get a 4-3 victory in our first ever postseason game. Who gets it? Who gets the runs here? So we end up getting a double from Wong, a home run. Walter Wong. Walter Wong putting in the work. Bob Ortega putting in the work. And our bullpen, actually, Julio Taveras blew the save. But we end up getting the victory anyways behind Pablo Anaya. Game 2 in Arizona is going to be Chris Chacin versus Irvin Haney as we get a victory. Both games in Arizona. Douglas Cosmo versus Cy Young Award winner Luis Seal in Game 3 in Philadelphia is going to be a loss. Cosmo gets the L there. Torrey Seymour versus Lawrence Magana in Game 4 in Philly. We lose that one as well. Our 2 rookies did not play well. That's going to leave Doug Walk for Game 5 against the Phillies as we win, and we'll be taking on the St. Louis Cardinals in the NLCS. We struggled a little bit, but Alexi Cruz came in and did the work. He hit 3 home runs in that series. Hitchcock also doing the work too. So we end up winning that one. If we look at our bullpen, we end up seeing that Chacin put together a phenomenal game, and we let most of our starters kind of pitch, and our bullpen did struggle a little bit, but not necessarily to an extent that is concerning. And so in our first playoff appearance, we are going to be in the NLCS against the St. Louis Cardinals and multi-time MVP Nick Kurtz, where we are taking on Hunter Green, who actually won the Cy Young this year. I was looking earlier in the year and I thought it was Luis Hill. He was third in the race. Hunter Green is a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, as we are going to have to go to St. Louis, a stacked team, and try to beat them in our first appearance. So NLCS Game 1, Ortega versus Green. We get a massive 13-5 victory, where we get 3 RBIs from Hitchcock, 2 from McVay, 2 from Silva, 2 from Santos, 2 from Quevedo. Just an all-around performance across the board from our team, as we do kind of limit them a little bit here in Game 1 in St. Louis. Chacin versus Wu in Game 2 is going to go to Wu, actually Yokoyama of the Cardinals, as we lose that one. So it's 1-1 going back to Arizona, as we're going to have Douglas Cosmo on the mound. I hate that. Our rookies might actually be the struggle here. If we can get a victory from one of the rookies, that's a success. Cosmo versus Piper, 2-3 loss on that one. Torrey Seymour versus Hunter Green in Game 4. We lose both games by the rookies, and close ones at that. Might have used too much of our offense in Game 1. Doug Walk, we have to win this. We are down 3-1. Walk versus Sloan, we do win it, meaning we are going back to St. Louis for Bob versus Wu, and we win it Game 7 of the NLCS in our first ever appearance. So here we are in Game 7 of the NLCS, Diamondbacks Cardinals. So we're going to start off with being on base, hitting, as we are playing in St. Louis. Nathan Piper has a 2 ERA so far this postseason. Can our guys back it up? Hitchcock's going to start out with a fly out. Then Cruz hits a solo shot. Alexi Cruz gets a home run to lead us off 1-0, ground out from McVay, and a strikeout from Silva. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this team, but I know that they have been insane at building this roster. So Michael Garcia is starting off at the top against Chacin. He's going to strike out. Lonnie Feliciano was second in Rookie of the Year this season, and he's hitting .437, but he grounds out. Kurtz has a bunch of MVPs, and I should show how many MVPs he has. I think he's got 3. So he's got 3, but 70 home runs, 61 home runs, 52-50 has spent his entire career in St. Louis. He is the big threat in this one, but we strike him out. Marlon Barton's going to start with a line out. Walter Wong, a solo shot from Walter Wong. We're up 2-0. Single from Adrian Santos. Rookie Quevedo, runners on first and second for Rudy Iverson. Bases loaded for Patrick Hitchcock, who hits a single and gets 2 men in for Alexi Cruz. Runners on the corners, hits into a double play. But that is fantastic start. We're up 4-0 going into the bottom of the second. Paul Dorta, Rookie of the Year this year, is hitting a little worse in the postseason. Flies out. Lawrence Butler has been here the entire time, I believe. He's going to get a single. Jared Kelenic gets a fly out. Luther Wilkins, don't know much about that guy. He is a rookie as well. They've had 3 rookies this season. No wonder they ended up actually making the postseason this year with Kurtz. They get a strikeout there, as we are going to go to Sam McVay, who flies out. Silva with a walk to get on to first. Marlon Barton gets a fly out and a fly out there. They have Franklin Arias at shortstop. I feel like that's a real person, so that I believe it is. I don't remember, though. That might not be. ends up at shortstop. We are going to get a ground out from him, and Dylan Dingler gets a single. Michael Garcia strikes out. Feliciano flies out. So going into the top of the fourth, we now know a little bit about this Cardinals roster. Fly out, and a fly out for Iverson at the bottom of our lineup. Kurtz versus Chacin gets a double, gets on base. Ground out from Dorta. Walk for Butler, so we've got men on first, the second for Kelenic, who strikes out. And Luther Wilkins gets a single. Bases loaded for Franklin Arias. Fielder's choice, we get out of that jam. Hitchcock gets a single to get onto first base. They're going to make a pitching change to Evan Phillips. Gets a fielder's choice. Alexi Cruz is now on first. Fielder's choice. Now it's Sam McVay on first. Fielder's choice. 3 in a row. Justin gets a pop-up from Dingler, a strikeout, and a triple from Feliciano. We walk Kurtz and get a ground out from Dorta, still up 4-0. Fly out for Barton. Ground out for Wong. Single for Santos to get onto first. Men on first, second for Rudy Iverson. Base is loaded for Hitchcock. Strikes out in that one. So, guy doesn't strike out a lot, but strikes out there. Bottom of the sixth, ground out, fly out, and a fly out as we get out of that. Chacin is pitching really well. He had that one tough inning. Cruz gets a single. Single from McVay. Strikeout from Silva. Double from Barton. Gets a man in, as we do have a runner thrown out, but that means McVay didn't make it in. Single. We are up 6-0. Fielder's choice. Chacin in the bottom of the seventh. Strikeout. Ground out. Ground out. We are going to go to the top of the eighth as they go to Adrian Blanco. Strikeout. Hitchcock gets a ground out. Chacin walks Feliciano. Double play from Kurtz. Walks Dorta. I think he needs a pitching change. We are going to go to... I feel like the safest bet is... We'll go Tom Liss here. And he gives up a 2-run shot to Butler. Single from Kelenic. Single from Wilkins. I'm making the pitching change again. Give me Taveras. Fly out. That was rough. All right. So Cruz is going to go to Yokoyama. We are up 4. And Cruz with his second home run of the day. We're up 7-2. McVay walks to get on base. Double from Silva. Men are on second and third for Barton. Ground out. Wong's going to strike out. And Santos is going to ground out as we are going to make the pitching change and just go to Pablo Anaya to end this game. Fly out. Fly out. Let's jump in. Let's watch our last out for the chance to go to the World Series in our first ever postseason appearance. Pablo Anaya against Lonnie Feliciano. Slider outside, 1-0. Now, if we do make the World Series, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is a success and the rebuild's going to be over. We've barely seen development from a lot of our guys. Obviously, we've seen it from the big guys, but not from everybody, as we've got great players that still really haven't done anything yet. So there's a lot coming here. Feliciano has a 2-0 count. He's in 429 in the postseason. This Cardinals team I don't think is going away anytime soon either. I know they signed Kurtz to a long-term deal, so with 3 rookies that were all very good this year, a great pitching staff, and Nick Kurtz on a long-term deal, this Cardinals team should always be a threat to us. Though, we are younger, and at this point, we might just be better, though Anaya is going to get that 3-2 full count to Feliciano after the foul pitch. Bottom of the ninth here in Busch Stadium. Full count for Pablo Anaya. Misses. That's going to be a walk, and it's going to put Kurtz up to bat. We're up 5, so it's not like it's a huge deal necessarily that Kurtz is up to bat. But it could be. We saw what happened to Liss when we brought him in. Anaya's struggling a little bit with control. He's missing the strike zone a lot, pitching around these guys, which makes sense. These two are some of their best bats in this lineup, but we've got to make sure to throw him in the zone, and he does. Drops the slider up high, gets the strike. Kurtz watches it, 1-1 count for Anaya in the bottom of the ninth of Game 7 of the NLCS. If we win, we would go on to take on the Texas Rangers, as they're going to foul that one off, and the Cardinals are down to their last strike. The Texas Rangers have an amazing pitching staff, so that is a team that will be really interesting to watch if we have to play them. As we get the strikeout, Pablo Anaya strikes out Nick Kurtz. The Arizona Diamondbacks are advancing to the World Series in our first ever postseason appearance.
2032 National League champion, Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's go. In a rematch of the 2023 World Series, we are taking on the Texas Rangers, who have a stacked rotation of Garrett Crochet, two-time Cy Young Award winner, Jose Jimenez, who has not won one, but he is 26 years old, Peyton Toll, who is a 92, Edward Cabrera, who's an 85, and Mike Burrows, who's an 82. They've got a good bullpen as well, and their lineup includes an MVP, a 99 overall, someone who was there for that same 2023 World Series, their superstar, Corbin Carroll. Sometimes these almost feel scripted. For this to happen this way, for it to be Corbin Carroll, who is actually the guy that we are going against in this one, who has won an MVP, who has 9 All-Star appearances, a home run champion, 5 Silver Sluggers in his time in Texas. He's already to 370 career home runs. That's who we have to beat. And so we are starting Game 1 of the World Series off with Jesse Pinto versus Garrett Crochet in this one. I wanted to switch it up. I wanted to make sure one of the rookies wouldn't. I prefer neither of them pitch. Just let somebody with experience take the game. Game 1 in Arizona, we win 9-3 in that one, getting another great performance. They also have Ernie Clement, Mlbtheshow, Colt Emerson, Matt Olson, a fantastic roster. We get a home run from Barton and a bunch of RBIs from the rest of the squad, as Barton puts together a great game in that one. Game 2 in Arizona, Doug Walk versus Jose Jimenez. We lose 5-10. Doug Walk loses that one. We're going to go into Texas with Bob Ortega and Chris Chacin versus Peyton Toll and Garrett Crochet. If need be, that means that we will then shrink our rotation to let Chacin pitch Game 7. I don't like that, but we might have to go with a bullpen game. Ortega, Game 3 in Texas, is going to be a 2-5 loss. Bob gets the L. We are down 2-1. Chacin versus Crochet. In Game 4 is an 0-4 loss. We are down 3-1. We have to make the change. I think we're going to go Seymour is not going to pitch. I'm going to go back to Pinto and then let Bob pitch right after. We kind of have to. We don't really have a lot of options. That's our rotation. Pinto versus Cabrera. We get the victory, 3-2. Ortega on 4 days rest against Jose Jimenez to push into a possible Game 7. Bob on the mound versus the Texas Rangers. Line out to start it off. Ernie Clement is going to get a pop out, and Corbin Carroll hits a solo shot on his former team to take a 1-0 lead for the Rangers. So we get a fly out there, though, to end that. Fly out from Hitchcock, single from Cruz. Fielder's choice puts McVay on first, and Silva gets nothing. Colt Emerson is going to ground out. Matt Olson is going to get a walk for Petey Halpin, who lines out. Arjun Nimala gets, or I guess they get caught stealing, so they don't end up not getting him up to bat. Marlon Barton strikes out. Walter Wong with a double. He should be able to steal third pretty easily. Shouldn't have done that. He has 88 steal and 99 stealing. I understand why he's been caught stealing so much. All right. Nimala strikes out. Kilby gets a single. Waldschmidt gets a walk. Men on first and second for Clement. Strikes out. Corbin Carroll with a single. Bases loaded for Mlbtheshow, who walks. Ortega is struggling. Single. We're down 4-0. Fielder's choice. Ortega is having a rough one. We need some offense. Quevedo flies out. Error to get Iverson on base. We do steal second for Hitchcock. Flies out. Cruz grounds out. So we're still down 4-0. Halpin grounds out. Nimala flies out. Kilby grounds out. McVay grounds out. Silva gets a double for Marlon Barton, who hits a 2-run shot. We're down by 2 here in the bottom of the 4th. We get a strikeout from Wong, a single from Santos, and nothing else. I think I'm going to make the pitching change. We're going to go to the bullpen. We are going to go to Duran for a while. He's got a lot of stamina, so he should be able to go for a little bit. Strikeout, single for Clement, strikeout for Carroll,
2-run shot for Basayo. We are down again by 4. Strikeout for Iverson. A double for Hitchcock. Cruz gets a double to hit him in. 6-3 for Sam McVay, who pops it out. Steven Silva, pop out. Duran gets a strikeout, and gets out of that inning. Jose Jimenez is going to still stay in the bottom of the 6th. Fly out. Single for Walter Wong. Steals second. Santos pops out. Quevedo strikes out. I think I'm going to make the pitching change here. We're going to go to, I guess, Cosmo and give him a shot. Strikeout, fly out for Waldschmidt, and then nothing there. They're probably going to make a pitching change to Richie Bronk, bottom of the 7th here. Iverson pops out. Hitchcock grounds out, and a walk from Cruz gets a man on first for Sam McVay, who grounds out going into the top of the 8th. Strikeout, ground out, nothing from Emerson. Bronk against Silva in the bottom of the 8th. They're going to Preston Kaufman instead. Strikeout, Barton with a double. Man on second for Walter Wong. Single. He should be able to steal second. Why do I keep doing this? This is not something that has ever been an issue. We are down by 2 for Santos. Top of the 9th. I'm going to make the pitching change. We're going to go to I don't have any lefties. I guess I have a starter. No, I don't. I used all my lefties. So we'll go to Erickson. Fly out. Walk for Halpin. Stolen base. They get a run. Fielder's choice. We are down by 3. Quevedo versus Geraldo Castro. Grounds out. Iverson. Solo shot. We are down by 2 for Patrick Hitchcock, who walks. That's going to be down by 2 with Alexi Cruz up to bat. We got to see what happens. Alexi Cruz, the game-tying run at bat. The MVP of the 2032 season against Geraldo Castro, who's going to miss low. We've got a man already on base in Hitchcock. Cruz is hitting phenomenal this offseason. He is our MVP. He is our superstar. Can he give us the lead? That circle changeup is something you got to swing at. That ball looked like a meatball by Castro. I know it ended up being in the corner, but man, I wish Cruz would have knocked that one out of the park. 1-1 count for Cruz. Misses again outside. The splitter misses. 2-1 count for Cruz. He is pitching around him. It makes sense. Dude has hit 50 home runs this season. Castro misses again. Slider outside. 3-1 count. Sam McVay is on deck. He's had a little bit of a rough postseason after a great regular season. 3-1 count for Alexi Cruz. That ball is going to be painted on the inside. We are down to a full count for Alexi Cruz here in the bottom of the 9th of Game 6 of the World Series. With the pitch, he swings and he misses. That's going to leave it for Sam McVay after the strikeout from Castro. Yep. I mean, it was outside of the zone barely, but he does miss it. So Sam McVay is our last hope. He was our first hope, our first draft pick in this rebuild. He's going to take it. He's going to ground it up through the gap. We got a man on first and second now for Steven Silva, as our 2 on-base machines get on base. Sadly, Cruz wasn't able to do much with it. We're actually going to pinch run at Guy Doherty, who does have and is much faster. McVay did get caught on the base paths earlier on. Steven Silva with a chance to tie it with a hit into the outfield. Doherty has 90-some speed. I think it's like 96 speed. So if Silva can get a ball into the gap, we can tie this game. 0-1 count. With the pitch. That ball misses low. Slider. Diamondbacks fans are on their feet, looking to extend this series to a Game 7 after a rough pitching outing for Bob Ortega. 1-1 count for Silva. That ball misses high. 2-1 count. That was a little bit lower. I was hoping he was swinging on it. If he can pull a ball into the gap, we might just be able to do it. Now, Corbin Carroll's got a cannon. I don't know if Doherty can get home, but that ball misses. 3-1 count. Marlon Barton is on deck, and he has been phenomenal this game, as well as this entire postseason. If Silva gets walked, Barton is also a good bat this season. With the pitch, that ball misses. Silva is going to be walked. We have bases loaded. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th of Game 6
of the World Series with Marlon Barton coming up to bat. He already has a home run tonight. He already has a double tonight. He has 2 RBIs. Can he make it 4 RBIs in this game to tie it up? We've got a good fast runner on second. Once again, a hit into the gap will likely tie this game. Looks like he checks his swing. 1-0 count for Bart. Walter Wong is on deck as well. Somebody who's got a little bit less of a bat. So this is probably our best shot. With a pitch, that ball is going to be hit right to the second baseman. We are going to come up just short in 2032. Our playoff MVP is Alexi Cruz. Dax Kilby wins World Series MVP. Cruz had a great season. Hitchcock had a great postseason, but it wasn't enough for us this year. Yet, this team should be significantly better next year, and maybe our starting pitching will look a little bit better in the postseason. That was a little bit of our weakness. We basically had 2 good arms, and Ortega's just ran out of gas at the last moment. Maybe I should have went with somebody else. Maybe it was a bad decision. That happens. I had no faith in any other pitcher outside of Ortega in Chacin. Hopefully this next season will give me some more confidence. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to try to push just to 2036. That would be 11 years, which generally means the 5 years in the minors and then the 6 years of team control that you have, and you can start to see guys start to disappear there. And that's where we'll end it, because I think that makes sense. If we're doing a draft only, that's where all of a sudden our entire team is going to be, $1 billion, and all these guys would eventually leave. So we have till 2036. 2033 is here. We're coming off of a World Series appearance. That means probably not going to show drafts anymore. I know it's a draft only rebuild. I'm not showing drafts. I'll show you if I find anybody really interesting, but no more drafts because those guys probably won't play. The only changes we're going to do is we're going to bring in Jimmy Villalobos to pitch this year. I think that Pinto was good, but I want to just give a shot to Villalobos. And lineup-wise, we're going to give Max McCarthy the spot on against lefties. Right now, I'm still debating a lot of positions here, and I don't necessarily know what I want to do with this team yet at some of these weaker bats. But for now, I think this makes the most sense. I don't until Merced ends up becoming something to be better than Santos. We'll play around with it as we go, but for right now, I'm not necessarily certain there's a better pick than just going with this lineup, hoping that Cruz can continue his MVP run. And a month into the season, we're 21-11, the best offense in the league. We are now ranked as the best team in the league. All it took was a couple of years of development. And I don't want to jinx it, but Sam is hitting 400. I jinxed it, probably. We are 63-33 at the All-Star break, really just fighting with the Giants in our division, and the wildcard race does mean that we still have to compete a little bit, but it seems like there's a pretty big drop-off. If we stay above 500, we will be a wildcard team at least. Really, what we're competing for is to have the best record in the league, and right now, we have that. It's us, and I mean, in the NL, it'll be us and the Cardinals again. And for All-Stars, Chris Chacin is in the All-Star race this season. He's not going to be a Cy Young. This guy's got 14 wins at the All-Star break, so he's going to get it if he continues that. But Pablo Anaya is an All-Star closer. Notably, we don't have a first baseman, which means Sam McVay, who is still hitting about 350, got robbed of that. Essentially, it's because I think there's too many Cardinals up here, because the only other guy that we got is Alexi Cruz, who's at 35 home runs, a little less RBIs this year. I think I have him hitting second and not third. That will influence that. But he is still having a phenomenal season. We're looking for another 50 home run year from him, probably, if not getting close to 60 this year. Found a few okay players. Juan Santiago, 72 overall. Can't play defense, so he's just like the rest of our team. 78 potential. Could be interesting. Elvis Ray could actually be in our bullpen if we needed it. And we did find some high potential guys in realistically situations that I would have probably traded them away in other rebuilds. But, this is this rebuild, so I didn't scout. We just took whatever was the best looking guys on the board. And with a month ago, we already have a 10-game lead over the Giants. We are basically clinched in the playoffs as we are 20 games up on the Brewers. So we're going to be in. It's just us and the Cardinals, really, I guess. And the Cardinals aren't really that close to us right now. We're the best team in baseball. And that's fun because we have Cardinals and Diamondbacks again as a duel, where it's going to be Cruz versus Kurtz going for the MVP. Cruz is leading the way right now. Kurtz is still hot on his tail. I think the home run count's going to help. We're not going to be in a Cy Young race, but McVay could get a batting title. Jordan's hitting 347, though. 102-60 this season. We win the division. We had a rough last month, but we will still be the #1 team in baseball, taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game. And we come home with 3 awards. Alexi Cruz, the Hank Aaron. Alexi Cruz, another MVP, and a batting title for Sam McVay, as Cruz now has MVP2, MVP2, MVP, and MVP in his first 4 seasons. 213 hits, 48 doubles, 55 home runs on a 335 average, and an 1100 OPS. His career OPS is over 1,000 points as he racks up 12.4 WAR this year in Arizona. Get a Gold Glove yet? No? No Gold Glove? Still no Gold Glove? They don't respect him. They don't respect them. Cy Young once again goes to Hunter Green, leading the way for the Cardinals. You saw McVay was the batting title winner. I think we were also up there, Anaya, for reliever of the year, again, losing this time to another NL Central reliever. In the AL side, Corbin Carroll wins another MVP. That's his second MVP, coming off of their title. And Dave LeBlanc of the Rays wins the Cy Young. We had a bunch of league leaders. Bob Ortega led the way in ERA with a 2.88. Chacin in innings pitched, whip for Torrey Seymour, and Chacin in WAR. So we have the full rotation of guys I trust now. And on the offensive side, home runs, RBIs, batting average, hits, runs, slugging percentage, OPS, everything being led by us this season, as McVay hits 342, Cruz hits 335. We lead in hits. Don't lead in doubles. We're 1 short on that. Don't lead in triples, but we do lead in home runs as well. Now, a big reason for the drop-off at the end of the season is we lost Hitchcock due to injury, and that made us have to start Coleman Campaneris, who I thought I didn't even hit the mention because he's been pretty good for the last 2 years coming off the bench, but he was awful starting this year. Now, he's a good defensive catcher, so he should have been fine, but he still had errors. He still made mistakes. This was a rough patch, I guess, for us, as McVay and Cruz did their job. They're 92 and 99 overalls, 185 hits, 22 home runs for Sam McVay, as he had a 437 on base percentage, playing mostly, I believe, still right field. I might have moved him to first base a couple times for some parts of the season, but 4.8 WAR this year. Barton was good, 278 with 25 home runs. He has been phenomenal. Still no Gold Glove for him either. Walter Wong, 273 with 11 home runs with another 9 triples for him. Like, we're getting to the point where all these guys are starting to be really good players. Adrian Santos probably capped out here at a 79 overall, but 285 with 18 home runs. Quevedo, 233. Silva had a rough year. There were parts where I looked and he was hitting 180. And after giving him so much praise last year, that was pretty rough to see. Maybe last year was the fluke. This is more of the norm. But that's still 2.9 WAR because he plays good defense. Iverson, 253. Merced barely played 200. Doherty was a little rough this year. Mainly did lefties, but wasn't as good as he was last year. His fielding and his defense has gotten better, so he had provided a little more value. And Max McCarthy, not a good rookie for us, 197. But we pointed out what the strength was going to be coming in this season, and it was our pitching. Roderick Duran, 319 in the bullpen. Pinto was bounced around a lot. Villalobos got hurt like every other week, so he started 11 games. Pinto is one that I didn't have a whole lot of faith in, so that's okay. Liss, 444, wasn't great. Cosmo was decent on the bench. Erickson was decent on the bench. Welch shouldn't be up here. I think I had him sent down for Philip Lopez, and I don't know. Neither of them are really that good. Pacheco, I also had sent down. He wasn't that good either. So that last spot might be a little tough. But Taveras, 317 in the setup role and 244 with a 116 whip for Anaya as the closer. But the rotation is where it's at. Chris Chacin, 292. 111 whip with 195 strikeouts. Might have been he's kind of on par with what we're seeing out of Hunter Green. Ortega 288 with a 117 whip. Villalobos in his rookie season, though he missed a bunch of games due to injury, was pretty good, 324 with a 117 whip. Torrey Seymour, one of the most efficient whip, didn't really let guys get on base, which is important because we can't play defense. 110, 371 for him. And Doug Walk, our strikeout guy, started to get some control under his belt as he pitches his best season. We have 5 starters, and I'd be willing to start all of them this postseason. So in our attempt to run it back this season, we have the Cincinnati Reds here in the NLDS, trying to go on now as the 1 seed and advance back to our World Series. We have Brian Bayo in Game 1 against Chris Chacin, our ace. Here in Arizona, we are going to take a 4-0 lead after a 8-inning outing by Chacin, which is awesome. Bob Ortega versus Bubba Chandler in Game 2 in Arizona is going to be a 3-5 loss as our bullpen seems to lose that one. We got to win a game in Cincinnati. Rookie Villalobos versus Chase Burns of the Reds in Game 3 is going to be an 8-2 victory. Great game by Villalobos. They have Bryce Miller in Game 4 against Torrey Seymour in Game 4 for us. And we are going to advance, taking on the winner of the Cardinals or the Phillies. And so it will be a rematch. St. Louis versus Arizona. We are going to be hosting them this time in our home field advantage. It should be about the same team. Their roster didn't have much turnover, and neither did ours. Our only change was McCarthy and Villalobos, and importantly, a lot more confidence in our starting pitching. Game 1 in Arizona, Doug Walk versus Nathan Piper, who we beat in Game 7 last year, is going to go to Nathan Piper as Doug Walk gets walked down by the Cardinals lineup, losing 13-2. Chacin versus Hudson in Game 2 in Arizona is another one as we get blown out again. Both games in Arizona. St. Louis putting 23 runs on us as our pitching, while I just praised them, not enough for this team so far. We got to win a couple games in St. Louis. Bob versus Hunter Green. We lose again. We're down 0-3. Villalobos versus Ryan Sloan. There's our offense, 15-1 in that game for Villalobos. 7-0 in Game 5. Game 6, Walk versus Hudson, 3-1. We're going to Game 7. We came back down 3-1 to them last time. Can we come back down 3-0? Back-to-back years, back-to-back Game 7s. Last year was in Busch Stadium. This year we're in Chase Field. But the big difference is it is ace against ace. 3-time Cy Young Award winner Hunter Green versus our ace, Chris Chacin. In this one, can we take down the St. Louis Cardinals and take a 3-0 comeback to advance to our second straight World Series? Starting off the game, Chacin versus Michael Garcia. Garcia's going to get a single to lead him off. Strikeout for Feliciano. Walk for Kurtz. Dorta grounds out. Men on second and third for Wilkins, who walks. Bases loaded for rookie Benedict Cano, who does fly out. We get out of that one. Hunter Green versus Sam McVay, who gets a ground out. Cruz strikes out, and Santos gets a double. Mark Kern is going to strike out in that one. Strikeout for Kalanick. Fly out for Arias, and Dingler gets a flyout. Walter Wong gets a walk. He should be able to easily steal second base, as he does. Men on second for Coleman Campaneras, who grounds out. Cavedo with a man on second is going to strike out. Marlon Barton with a man on second gets a single. Not enough for Wong to get in. So Ken Steven Silva, who's hitting 132 this postseason, hit him in. He gets walked. Good for Sam McVay to fly out. So no runs there as we get a ground out from Garcia, ground out from Feliciano, and a solo shot from Nick Kurtz for the Cardinals to take a 1-0 lead. Pop out there to follow it up. Cruz responds with a single. Double play, though, from Santos. Kern does get a triple in his first appearance in the postseason, with Wong up to bat to strike out and not be able to hit him in. Fly out. Single for Cano. Kalanick gets a single. Strikeout for Arias. Strikeout for Dingler. Low scoring game thus far. Single for Campaneras to get onto first base. Cavedo flies out. Fielder's choice puts Barton on first, and a single for Silva. Men on first and second for Sam McVay, who grounds out. A little bit of a rough postseason for him. Garcia strikes out. Feliciano flies out. Kurtz grounds out. Solo shot from Cruz. One solo shot from Cruz, one from Kurtz as they respond. 1-1 game. Fly out from Santos. Strikeout from Kern. Hit by pitch puts Wong on base. He is going to steal second. Puts Campaneras an opportunity to hit him in, but he flies out. Chacin is going to get a line out from Dorta. Ground out from Wilkins. And a single from Cano. And a strikeout from Kelenic. Hunter Green probably not going to pitch this one as they switch to Hayden Birdsong for Quevedo, who grounds out. Barton's going to strike out, and Silva is going to get a single to get onto first base for McVay, who's been rough. Got to get that bat going sometime, McVay. It's not today. Chacin against Arias is going to get a ground out. Dingler pops up Garcia. Doubles. Man on second for Feliciano, who flies out. That'll probably be the end of Chacin's day. They're going to go to Adrian Blanco, who gives up a single to Alexi Cruz. Santos flies out. Kern with a double. Men on second and third. I'm going to go for that sac fly. We get it. We take the lead 2-1 as Wong gets the sac fly. Single. Men on first and third for Quevedo, who flies out. Okay, we are going to... do I pitch to Kurtz or not? I think we make the pitching change for Kurtz. We're just going to go Villalobos, lefty-lefty, strikeout, fly out, ground out. That was using a starter, but it's my only lefty I have because we have not drafted any other lefties. Blanco against Barton, or they're going to go to Justin Slayton. Fly out for Barton. Single for Silva to get onto first base. McVay flies out. And another single from Cruz. Men on first and second for Santos, who flies out. We are in the top of the ninth. We are going to the man, the myth, Pablo Anaya. Against Benedict Cano gets a walk. Kelenic pops up. Arias hits a double. Men on second and third. It's time to jump in as we are in a jam. They have a man on second and third for Dylan Dingler with Pablo Anaya. Second in the reliever of the year, 2 years in a row against Dingler. Four-seam fastball. He struck out Feliciano last year to advance to the World Series. This year, he's got to do it with men on base. Dingler down 0-1 with a pitch. That ball is going to be grounded foul. He can get a strikeout here. They no longer have to worry about the sac fly. 0-2 count for Dylan Dingler against Pablo Anaya. With the pitch, that's going to get called. No ABS in the game yet. That pitch was not in the zone. Pablo Anaya gets bailed out as it is still MLB 25, not 26. There's no ABS. We get the strike call as he had a good eye, but it wasn't enough. Michael Garcia now, top of the ninth with 2 outs for Anaya. He's going to miss that one inside. Four-seam fastball misses. That was lucky. We can say that, and I'm really hoping that the ball will lie because we need to get Michael Garcia out of this one. That is a swing and a miss on a slider, low and outside. 1-1 count for Garcia. Can Anaya get him out with another pitch? He's going to get him jammed. That's going to go up the middle. Barton's going to go back. Barton's going to catch it. We're going back to the World Series in 2033. Back-to-back appearances. Good getting out of the jam from Pablo Anaya as we advance. Great performance by Alexi Cruz, and the Walter Wong sac fly was enough. We do it. Chacin pitched to Jim, only gave up a run to Nick Kurtz. We're back, baby. NLCS champs. 2033 is the year of the rematch, because once again, we are going to be taking on the Texas Rangers in the World Series. Two-time MVP Alexi Cruz versus two-time MVP Corbin Carroll. Can we get our vengeance on Texas this time around? Game 1 is going to be Bob versus Jose Jimenez. Last year, we pretty much lost because we didn't have enough pitching. This year, we do have enough pitching. So, hopefully, that will be enough to get us the victory. Hitchcock is back as well as we get our rematch. Ortega versus Jimenez in Game 1 in Arizona. It's going to be a 2-4 loss. I think the Rangers might just have Ortega's number. Game 2, it's going to go Villalobos versus Crochet, the rookie versus .43 RA from Garrett Crochet right now. But we get the victory, we beat them up, and we score. We're 1-1. Need to take a game in Texas. Torrey Seymour versus Peyton Toll. Game 3 is going to be an 11-7 victory as it goes to the bullpen, and Roderick Duran gets the dub. Douglas Cosmo, who I have put in the rotation instead of Doug Walk. I have a little bit more faith in Cosmo. I think against Ernesto and Dino in Game 4, maybe I should have not. Well, it looks like the bullpen lost it. It is 2-2. Our ace, Chris Chacin, here in Game 5 against Jose Jimenez. Hasn't pitched since Game 7 of the last series. Can he get a victory? He can. 10-2. We are up 3-2 going to Game 6. It's Bob against Garrett Crochet. And so we brought out the classic unis to take on another multi-time Cy Young Award winner in Garrett Crochet, as we have Game 6 and Game 7 to potentially beat Corbin Carroll and the Texas Rangers to win our World Series with this team. Mitch Voigt is going to be their second baseman. He's going to lead off with a ground out. Dax Kilby, World Series MVP last year, is going to strike out, and Corbin Carroll is going to ground out. So Crochet versus McVay to start it off gets a fly out. Cruz strikes out, and Hitchcock flies out. Emerson gets a fly out. Basayo, my bad, gets a single. Fielder's choice to Waldschmidt, and a pop-up as we get out of that. Single for Marlon Barton, gets on base. Double play, though, gets us back into that, as it's going to be a slow one here. Crochet is hard to beat. Matt Olson versus Bob gets a pop-up. Nimila gets a walk before going to Voigt. Kilby with Nimila on base gets a single. Man on first, second for Corbin Carroll. He is going to ground out. We get out of that one. Bottom of the third for Crochet. Gives up a walk to Walter Wong. That is an easy stolen second base. I want to try a hit and run here. Doherty is really, really fast. I've never really done it. I don't know if it's going to work. It doesn't, but we do get Wong out there, and I'm going to go for the sac fly to get him in. And they commit an error, so we are okay, and I'm going to steal second. Might be able to pull this off again. We get an error to score our first run. McVay grounds out, and a strikeout there. Maybe I should have just stolen third and just played small ball. But we're up 1-0 here. Fly out for Emerson. Ground out for Basayo. Ground out for Waldschmidt. Hitchcock up to bat. He's hitting .385 just in this series, as he is hit by a pitch, gets onto first base. Marlon Barton with a 2-run shot to take a 3-0 lead. Santos walks. Strikeout for Silva. Line out for Wong. Doherty gets a single. Men on first and second for Rudy Iverson, who pops up and gets out. We're up 3-0 with Bob pitching. Pop up, ground out, and a fly out. McVay against Crochet gets a fly out. Cruz strikes out, and Hitchcock with a walk. 2 walks for him so far today. Marlon Barton flies out. Ortega versus Voigt. Ground out. Kilby gets a ground out. Carroll gets a ground out. We are pitching a gem with Bob right now. Santos is going to go against Guy Armstrong as they bring in a reliever. Fly out. Silva pops up, and Wong gets a ground out. Ortega is going to strike out Emerson. Strike out Basayo. Gets an error to let Waldschmidt on. Gets caught stealing, so we get out of that one as Hitchcock right there to pop up and get that man out. Doherty is going to be here against Bryant Duarte. I don't know if this is a righty or a lefty. This is a righty. So it might be time to make... Oh, no, never mind. I have him playing right field instead of first, so he has to stay in. I don't have another outfielder. Iverson strikes out then, and McVay pops up. We could go to the bullpen, but Ortega is still pitching well. Strikeout. Single for Olson. Fielder's choice has a man on first for Voigt, who fielder's choice gets out of that. That means we are going to have Anaya in the next at-bat. Lexi Cruz grounds out, Hitchcock grounds out, and Marlon Barton strikes out. Time to go to Pablo Anaya to seal the deal. Dax Kilby gets a ground out. Corbin Carroll strikes out. It is down to Colt Emerson for the last at bat, and our chance to win our series in 6. After they won theirs in 6. Her ball misses low, 1-0 for Anaya. Wearing the classic jerseys. Maybe that's what helped. Maybe that's what we needed to do. Bring it back to 2001, when we also had an amazing pitching staff, as we get a fouled pitch on the slider for Colt Emerson, 1-1 in the top of the 9th here. I believe, actually, the Rangers had the exact same path back-to-back years as well, as they beat the Yankees in 7 back-to-back years to get here. So 2-1 count now for Colt Emerson. As Anaya winds up and pitches. That one's going to get hit. That is going to get down as we are able to get to it. Silva's going to throw it over to second base as Barton catches it. But man on first as Anaya gives up a hit to Colt Emerson. And they are going to bring out Mlbtheshow up to bat. Here in the top of the ninth, we're up 3-0. So even a home run, we're still okay. But we're not going to do that. We're going to get him out. Mlbtheshow has hit 7 for 25 with a home run and 2 RBIs so far this season, or this World Series. So if he is able to get another, that means that would be 3 RBIs or 4. That pitch gets called for a strike 0-2 count. The ump loves Pablo Anaya. He must be like giving them gifts because those are gifts back to Pablo. Not that one. That was a slider inside, and that was missed by a lot. As the Texas Rangers are down to their last strike for Mlbtheshow in the 3-0 game in Game 6 of the World Series with the pitch that is going to be grounded over to Barton, who's going to throw it to McVay, and the Diamondbacks are going to win the World Series in 2033. 8 years of simulating, and we have done it. Really only 3 years of playing, in fact. This team is filled with only drafted players. It is filled with superstars, stars, and future stars as we take down the Texas Rangers and win our World Series. Hitchcock, be careful. That foot is still probably hurt. Don't jump too much. I don't want to lose you next season, too. As we are celebrating our victory, we're going to keep it going, though, because I don't want to end right here. There's still a lot of guys that we haven't really even seen. Ben Perez has been the #1 prospect in all of baseball since we drafted him. He hasn't even touched the major leagues yet. A couple other guys still here as Silva celebrates in the outfield. Alexi Cruz celebrates his first World Series, which will hopefully be of many. Dude, he's jacked. No wonder he's hitting like 50 home runs. He is huge. As Stephen Vogt holds up the trophy for the Diamondbacks. I've never seen that. We're swimming in the pool. I've never seen this celebration. I guess it's a unique celebration if you win with the Diamondbacks. He deserves it. Patrick Hitchcock, World Series MVP, missed 2.5, actually almost 3 months of baseball. Came back to play 6 games and racked up a World Series MVP this season. Playoff MVP goes to Alexi Cruz. But shout out Hitchcock. Missed so much. Came back from like a broken foot. And that's awesome, dude. That's so great. I really hope that he can rack up another great season for himself next year. The only change we're really doing this year is going to be calling up some more starters. Daniel Rivas is going to come up. He was our 2nd-round draft pick in 2028. He has been pitching at a 2 ERA in the minors every single season, but I never really had the room to bring him up. We also mentioned Ben Perez. I'm going to bring him up as well. That does mean, now that we have too many guys, we're going to have to start sending guys down. Philip Lopez is going to be sent down this year. Jesse Pinto has probably been our worst starter. Mariano Pacheco, Milton Welch. Some guys are going to start losing their spots. In the lineup, no changes for 2034. But things could, as Todd Baum is somebody who looks like they should be coming up at any point here soon. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing every single thing in these seasons now that we've won, but I have to show this. Look at the top 6 guys in this lineup. 314 with 13 home runs and 52 RBIs. Also, McVay's stat lineup is a dream. 96-99, don't care about power. Vision, discipline, clutch. This guy is the GOAT for hitting like that. Oh, speaking of GOATs, 361, 33 home runs, 101 RBIs. Did I mention we're still in June? Not even to the All-Star break. Hitchcock, 328. Marlon Barton, 325. Walter Wong, 307. And I brought up Todd Baum because Santos got hurt, and why not? Because Doherty was bad. 347 with 7 home runs and 34 RBIs, and he has gone up. He was hitting 90 2 months into AAA. So we're a little bit worse as a team this year, not offensively. Offensively, we're insane. Our pitching staff is just a little bit worse. But we're 66-31 at the All-Star break. But there are so many good players on the Cardinals, Phillies, and Reds that we don't actually get a lot of All-Stars because they're all on the same team, meaning that all the other teams need to just get their guy. So Hitchcock is not an All-Star despite hitting over 300. Sam McVay hitting over 300, not an All-Star. Nick Kurtz obviously is one. Marlon Barton he is the best second baseman in all of baseball, which makes sense. But then we have in outfield Alexi Cruz, who obviously he's in the MVP race, probably will win it again. So it's we only had Barton and Cruz. Doesn't matter. This team is so good. Hey, there was a generational talent in this draft. 112 wins this season to follow up our World Series title. 4 games off the record. Yeah, we're the best team in baseball. And we're on a 17-game win streak to make that happen. So we're red hot. We're the best team. We have the best offense. We have one of the best pitching staffs. It's just, we're unstoppable right now. Hank Aaron, Alexi Cruz, MVP Alexi Cruz, batting title Alexi Cruz, triple crown Alexi Cruz, 330, 58 home runs, and 165 RBIs as he beats out Kurtz and Dorda. Chacin, runner-up in the Cy Young again. To Irvin Haney this time of the Phillies as Hunter Green drops a little bit there. On that side, Riley Green wins the MVP for the Orioles. Cy Young goes to Brian Wu, now with the A's. Chacin is a league leader in ERA, innings pitched, and WAR. So, dude, he's getting robbed for these Cy Youngs that he should be getting, but Cruz led the way across the board. Walter Wong also hit 325. Barton hit 307. We did see Baum drop off a little bit. McVay hit 296 a little after that too. But we led the way in hits, and that's important. And non-doubles, he had 51. But yeah, we were the best team. He led in triples too. He was just that good. I mean, he is just that. His lefty power went up 14. That's awesome. 209 hits, 51 doubles, 58 home runs, 11 triples, 330 with an 1131 OPS. Do you think he got the Gold Glove? Probably not. 12.8 WAR, and oh, he got the Gold Glove! We're so good, they sent down Mark Kern, who hit 292, and he didn't play defense. He had 3 WAR in DH. They sent him down. That's how good we were this season. Iverson hit 264. Santos hit 253, though got hurt and lost his job. McCarthy, 233, didn't really play. Doherty only against lefties. Campaneris, backup catcher, 241. 296 from McVay with 22 home runs, 86 RBIs. 330, 58 from Cruz. Hitchcock, 286, 13 home runs, 66 RBIs. Barton, 307 with 25. He got a Gold Glove too. Awesome. 307 with 25 home runs for him. He actually went down in overall. Walter Wong, 325 with 15 homers. Baum, 313, 11 homers. Didn't win Rookie of the Year. That's sad. But whatever. Quevedo, 258 with 19 home runs. Silva, 249 with 17 home runs. Maybe he's the odd man out if we decide to bring up McGinnis next year. He hit 167, so I'm not going to judge. Oh, that was the postseason. Never mind. I think he hit like 300. Rivas got sent down despite pitching 402 with a 1-2-1 whip in the bullpen. Did anybody else get sent down? Erickson did, but he's hurt. He had a 261 this year. Phenomenal. Anybody else get sent down? No, none of those guys actually played. Well, Pinto did. Pinto played, I think. Never mind. No, he didn't. So, on the major league level, Perez 4.22 with a 1.33 whip in the bullpen this year. Wasn't bad. Walk with a 2.29 and a 1.08 whip in the bullpen. Duran 3.0 with a 1.33. Taveras 3.61. List 3.40. Anaya was our worst pitcher. 39 saves. Maybe he shouldn't be the closer, but we're just going to keep him there because he has been an icon there. Chacin this guy is just getting robbed of what should be some Cy Young seasons. This has been a phenomenal stretch these last 3 years for Chacin. Oteka with a 3.39 and a 1.20 whip. Villalobos 3.69 with a 1.25. Did he cap out at 83? Okay. Seymour 89 with a 3.4. Or 89 overall. 3.40 ERA with a 1.25 whip, and Cosmo with a 4.13 and a 1.26. We'll bring up or Rivas and send down some of those other bullpen guys that don't need to be there, because there's some guys that don't need to be up here. 11-0 game 1, 9-6 game 2, 5-4 game 3. That's a sweep. That's 20 in a row. 21, 22. Oh, we end at 22 wins in a row. Oh, we lose both games. Okay, we're up 3-2. We advance, taking on the Orioles of the Guardians of the World Series. Okay, I'll show this one. I just thought we might be unbeatable. I don't want to get too cocky, so we'll sim slower through this one. The Orioles have been building a pretty good team over the last couple of years. I've seen them in free agency every year, grabbing somebody. And this Martin Miles guy is actually very, very good as their ace. We're going to start Cosmo in game 1. Or do I? No, let's make the pitching change. We're going to go to Chassin. We'll have Chassin start. We'll go the right order. Oh, Seymour. Yikes, man. Do we do... Yeah, let's just do that. We're just going to go Rivas instead of Seymour. All right, game 1, Chassin versus Martin Miles is going to be a 4-3 victory for us. Game 2, Bob versus Ryan Lemieux. We're going to win that one in Arizona. Villalobos versus Cade Anderson in game 3 in Baltimore is a 3-0 victory. And going for game 4, rookie Daniel Rivas versus Martin Miles does lose that one. So Cosmo's going to get game 5 in Baltimore against Lemieux. We lose that one. Okay. All right. Chassin versus Pruitt in game 6. All right, we win that one. 2 World Series in a row. Rookie Todd Baum wins World Series MVP and playoff. God, that guy is awesome, I guess. He was like a 2nd round pick, and that's... Oh, dude, he's just a great bat. New All-Star starter, Sam McVay, because he's hitting 371 with 23 home runs. I love him so much. We didn't get an All-Star from Hitchcock, but Anaya's an All-Star. We got one from Walter Wong, who is now an All-Star hitting 326. And Cruz is obviously still an All-Star. But Cruz is actually not leading the MVP race this season. That is Sam McVay. Yeah, just so we stop abusing, I think this will be the last year. 127 and 35. Our team's too good. 5 awards, Delivery Man of the Year, Pablo Anaya. Cy Young, Chris Chassin. Let's go, buddy. He gets the Cy Young. Hank Aaron goes to Alexi Cruz. National League MVP, Alexi Cruz. Batting title goes to Patrick Hitchcock, so McVay went down a little bit. Yeah, we're the best team in the league. We have the 1, 2, and 3 in the MVP race. The 1, 2, and 3 in the Cy Young race. The 1, 2 in the batting title. The reliever of the year, and I don't have a rookie because I didn't play any rookies, so... Yep, just take a look at the league leaders in batting average. Number 1, Hitchcock. Number 2, McVay. 3, Jordan. Good for him. He's 75 overall. He's phenomenal. Then Cruz in 4th. 5th is Wong. And then I have Silva still hitting. Oh, Silva's back over hitting 300. Awesome. Good for him. Yeah, we're to a point where we're unbelievable. Game sent down Mark Kern again as he hit 262 this year with 15 home runs. They sent anybody else down? No. We had Ryder down. Merced I left down now. Just the guys are just too good here. So I brought McGinnis up. He had 281 in the last month of the season. Good for him for being a power bat. Maybe we'll leave him up at the major league level. Let him hit DH or whatever. Santos hit 285 this year. Doherty hit 276 with 16 home runs as he finally is a serviceable player. McCarthy 274, Coleman Campaneris 229. I say that like defensively, serviceable defensively. He's an 88 overall. He's a stud. He's just, yeah. Sam McVay 343, 34 home runs, 121 RBIs. Just as unbelievable that stat line as he has an 1,000 OPS and 6.8 WAR, gets a batting title and a Silver Slugger. Or he already had the batting title. Alexi Cruz finally doesn't hit 50 home runs as he drops back down to 47 home runs. A little less power in his bat this year as he had 52 doubles, 47 home runs, 321 average. Still 1,000 OPS on the season for him and a 10.6 WAR. No Gold Glove this time for him, but he's on 4 MVPs, 4 home run champions. He's phenomenal. Hitchcock hit 350 with 16 home runs and 96 RBIs. I'm glad that he could get his batting title that he probably deserved. Marlon Barton's at 275, 32 home runs, 116 RBIs for him. A little bit down average-wise, but he's been great. I'm surprised he has that many errors defensively for being as good as he is. 319 with 24 and 105 RBIs for Walter Wong,
who also steals 34 bases on the season and 46 doubles. Great for him. Baum, 262, 6 home runs. Much worse this year. Quevedo, 272. Silva hit 303. We had oh my God. So 121 RBIs, 165 RBIs, 96, 116, 105 RBIs. We scored so many runs this year. And that doesn't even include Mark Kern on the bottom, who also had his 59 RBIs. Greg Erickson got sent down. He only played 10 games, 5.06 ERA. Wasn't that great. Pinto never came back up. He is done. Sorry for you, buddy. Philip Lopez, I had to keep up because he was going to be waived, and I wanted to give him a shot in case I was going to go 2 more years. Yeah, he didn't deserve to be there this year, so that's okay. In our actual lineup, Torrey Seymour had a bad year. He's a 91 overall, but had a 5.85 ERA. 327 from Villalobos, who missed half the season due to injury again. This dude is just injury prone. Doug Walk, 495 with 107 strikeouts. Kazuhito Ka was actually pretty good. Maybe I'll leave him up in for this playoff run. Duran, 219 with the 110 whip was good. Taveras, 369 was pretty good. List was pretty bad, but Pablo Anaya got 57 saves, 203 ERA. He's back to what we said we wanted out of him. 2033, 2035, 2030. He is a really good bullpen arm. He really, truly is. Chacin, Cy Young, finally, 289 with 107 whip. This dude is phenomenal. He was one of the 2 guys with 99 potential that we drafted, or 3 technically, because Ben Perez also had it. But we had 3 guys with that high of potential: Perez, Chacin, and Cruz, and he's going to end at a 98. Bob Ortega, 291 with a 106. We always said he wasn't a Cy Young guy because he doesn't strike guys out. Struck 191 guys out. Cosmo, 296 with the 110. Ben Perez, 307 with a 134. He actually didn't start at the beginning of the league season, but when Villalobos went down, I brought him up, and he was great. Should have just kept him up here. Rivas, 325 with a 122 whip. I can't act like there was anything wrong with this team. We were great the whole time. So 10 years into the rebuild, going for our 3rd straight World Series against the Atlanta Braves. Chris Chacin versus Josh Ullman. He's going to get an 11-2 victory. Bob versus Thomas White in game 2 is going to be a 5-4 victory. Looks like a bullpen win on that one. We're going to go to Atlanta. Cosmo versus Eric Mackey in game 3. We are going to sweep them, taking on the Reds in the NLCS. Ben Perez starting as the ace in game 1 against Michael Bunning. We are going to get a 3-2 victory with Kazuhito Ka getting the win on that one. Daniel Rivas versus Chase Burns and the Reds in game 2 here in Arizona is another close victory. Tom Liss with the win. Going into Cincinnati, Chacin on the mound versus Barney Naylor is going to be a 14-0 victory as we end up getting a home run. Only 1 home run. A lot of doubles though. Well, Cruz might have hit a grand slam, so I can give him that. There's a possibility that he hit a grand slam. Look at the offense. That's crazy. All right, game 4, Ortega versus Bryce Miller. We win 2 sweeps, taking on the Twins or the A's in the World Series. Cosmo on the mound for game 1 against Yuri Perez and the A's is going to be a 14-4 victory. Game 2, Perez versus Billy Rice. That's our first loss of the postseason. Give that to Julio Taveras in the bullpen to lose that one. Brian Wu versus Daniel Rivas in game 3. We win 9-7. Chacin versus Yuri Perez in game 4 is a 12-3 victory, putting Bob on the mound to possibly clinch our 3rd straight World Series. He does so, 1 loss. Diamondbacks win the World Series in 2035. World Series MVP Marlon Barton and playoff MVP Patrick Hitchcock. Barton hit .455 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs in the World Series. Hitchcock hit .439, 2 home runs, 378, 366 from Silva. This looks like a minor league team. Like we're a major league team playing in the minors. And that's kind of what happens whenever you go 10 years after doing a draft only rebuild. These guys aren't even near their peaks. Really, we're not even close for some of them because we're only 5 years into the careers of a lot of these players. But for the sake of not just abusing the computer forever and making this another hour-long video, or another hour to this already long video, just going to do a quick recap of our players. Sam McVay was our first pick, 2025. He ended up hitting really, really well. Got a batting title, was in the MVP race, a Silver Slugger, and he is only 29 with a bunch of years left to go as a fantastic contact and on-base machine at first base.
Alexi Cruz was the seventh overall pick in 2026. Generational talent with 4 MVPs, and already by the age of 27 having 304 career home runs, a career OPS over 1,000, and already with 65.6 WAR. I called him Mike Trout. He's a little bit better than that. I mean, look at the contact stats. We're just building a bunch of these guys. Contact, vision, discipline, clutch. MLB 26 is going to have different stats that matter. I hope so, because clearly you can tell that was all that we needed. And this is my MLB 25 put the sprinkle on top masterclass of how to draft, and hopefully you understand how that works. Little cocky, little bragging, but it's not too hard to see that every single player has this same structure. Santos was one of our only misses that we took. He was early. He was our only C potential player that we drafted. Him and Milton Welch were the only C potential players that we drafted from 2025 to 2029. And thinking of that, he was very productive. I'm not even mad. That was a very, very good career for him. 17.8 WAR. Like, long term, Diamondbacks would probably win 10 World Series with this roster. They've got a guy like Luis Correa, who's a 96 potential, who is not going to see not going to see it. Thank you very much for watching this draft only rebuild. We will see you in MLB 26 with some realistic rebuilds and hopefully some more bangers like this one. Adios.
Go home, get drunk, go sleep, wake up.